Welcome to the EST Hangout.
This is the EST Hangout, and today's guests are...
A happy snowy Wednesday morning to you. Welcome to the EST Hangout presented by Sentinel Storage, live right here on Edmonton Sports Talk, your clear choice for Edmonton sports on TuneIn, iHeartRadio, EdmontonSportsTalk.com, on YouTube, also wherever you get your podcast. Tom Gazzola, Lieutenant Eric, Matt Iwanyk with you here as we wait for Shawn Bell to come in and tag out with Lieutenant Eric as he is on his way. And as I said, EST Hangout presented by Sentinel Storage, Canada's storage experts, more than 2 decades of helping Canadians through life's transitions. 50% off, 12 weeks. It ends December 15th. Get your storage locker today. Sentinel.ca for more details and to find a location nearest you. There's a bunch of them. You can find the one that is the closest to you. Gents,
I've always wanted one.
a storage unit?
Yeah.
Got a good deal on one right now.
But you guys don't have any for it because you both live a condo life. So sometimes you need to get more stuff.
There was a storage unit between my move and my parents moving to their condo and stuff. We did have a storage unit for a period of time, and then we slowly dealt with stuff, and now there is none in the family.
Oh,
My brother has a house, so I could throw stuff,
yeah.
a couple things in there if I need to.
Do you not
but
have
I don't
a
need
storage unit in our building?
Yeah, I do.
You do?
An on-site,
so do I.
yeah.
But
But
like
I
a
want one of
bigger
those
thing.
where you go out and it's almost like having another house. You know what I mean? You could go in there and
They're
hang
so
out.
lovely.
Yeah.
I don't know. It feels cool. Like
I know,
going in
yeah,
and
I
lift it up and all your stuff's there.
Yeah.
They're so lovely is the quote.
Yeah, it's a lovely time.
I keep noticing more Sentinel Storage locations now that they're on board. I drove by one yesterday. I was like, oh, yeah.
There's a lot when you start
There
thinking
they
about
are,
it.
yeah.
Like because when I saw them with the Elks drafting of the player, I remember that there was one west end of town, just out of town. But then I'm like, that must be where they're located. And I was like, well, no, there's one right there. And then there's one right here. And then you just notice how many there are.
Yeah.
They're just all over the place.
And
that's why Sentinel.ca to find the one closest to you.
Boom. Very nice. Very nice. I will give a shout out to the Nasties that came out last night to BP Westgate. We gave away the giveaways there are unreal. I was just telling Dusty and you, Maddie, a little bit. The grand prize yesterday for an innocuous Tuesday night in early December, tickets for 2 to the Oilers Golden Knights game.
Whoa.
With a tailgate party put on by Boston Pizza and Molson at 11 a.m. So you go eat, drink there, be merry, and then they take you to the game. And Molson probably is, I'm sure, footing the bill or treating people. And then you can go back and or you can leave, or you can go back to Jasper BP. But like,
Those are hot tickets.
that's gonna be a
of
great
all
game.
the opposition, that's
We're giving away a bunch of jerseys. And then Tony and Curtis from BP Westgate were saying that next Thursday, you're going to be on location in Century Casino.
Sports Bar and Lounge.
Sports Bar and Lounge, yes. They know Renee because Renee used to work at BP
Yes, of course.
Westgate.
Yeah.
And they're like, hey, so on next Thursday, it's going to be Thursday Night Football and Oilers, right? And I was like, yes. And they're like, we're going to have pricing for both. Are you okay with giving that away? I was like, yeah, of course. We gave away like 2 jerseys last time that happened. So 2 football jerseys. I think there was like a bunch of hockey stuff. The swag is good. It's just legit. So come on down. And then Norman at Combine was there, Calvin, and some GCs.
Just Norm, Combine crew.
Brody was there too.
Yeah.
Brody was there. He
Half
finished
the
up
crew.
work.
It's always fun on a prime
'cause he
time
works at
NFL
the
night,
mall.
though. Oilers game as well. When you got them, that's the ticket.
Yeah, it was good. Anyway, just shout out to them. And if you're curious, if you think it's worthwhile, it definitely is, because there's a good chance you're going to win a prize. It's just the lounge. Every beverage you get a drink or a ticket, and puts you in the draw.
I'll be out more there after the NFL regular season.
Well, yeah,
when
you're busy.
it's just
It's
twice
busy.
a week, and then But after that, after the new year,
Yeah. Oh,
Save me
baby,
a
look
seat.
out. Yeah, you're going to have
me
a
a
plaque on the wood waiting for you.
We're saying this just before we came on the air and stuff. Why doesn't hockey do more tailgates?
I know.
You have Saturday nights all the time. How do you not create like little tailgating spots?
especially in the south where the weather would suggest a little bit more, I guess.
Yeah.
Well, even here, if the weather, like,
Not to say
we're
we're too
hardy and
wussies.
stuff. We
I know,
always
yeah.
like to say that, we're tough. This weather toughens us up and all of that.
We also complain a lot though when it's cold.
Good point.
100% we do, but there's a lot of like winter festivals that happen
Yeah,
right
yeah.
now and stuff. But like Saturday, it's 4 degrees here in Edmonton. Like,
perfect.
How are we not setting up some sort of like winter parties outside, or allowing people to set up some sort of winter parties outside? Like, if you park in one of those parking lots, why can't you set up a little tailgate spot? 6 o'clock. Get there.
You are 100% right. I feel like I know the answer to this one. If it was like a city of Edmonton person, they'd be like, well, Matthew, you need to go through permitting and we need to go through the proper channels. And then by the time you get to permitting, it takes a 5-day process. And you can't really tell what the weather's going to be like in Edmonton because it's so volatile. But it's a great idea. We can certainly look into it. Maybe we'll do a feasibility study. It'll cost about $40,000. And we'll get back to you on that.
Aiden O'Neill says because there are 82 games and not 18. Laugh my ass off.
Well, that's why I said there's Saturday games. I didn't say, I never did.
You don't want it every home and away.
Never did I say
Yeah.
there aren't 82 games. There's actually 41 home games. So
LMA.
there wouldn't be, yeah. And thank you, Tommy. Thanks for adding on to that.
You're welcome.
But like specific games throughout the year, couldn't you like add
Special ones?
Like to me, like a Saturday.
Yeah.
There are Saturday games.
Yeah.
Why couldn't you create Saturdays as a nice tailgate night?
Yeah.
Again, 41 though, Aiden. Get your numbers right.
And January,
Well, I said
February,
82
probably
games.
taking that off the
Yeah,
list.
but that's because
But you're
there's
not
82,
tailgating
not
for an away
18
game.
and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're not tailgating
Yeah.
for 18. You're not setting that up.
No.
You know, no one tailgates for the 18 games in the NFL. They tailgate for their 9 home games.
Yeah, you could.
That's correct. That is correct.
The numbers
Matthew.
have to add
That
up there.
is
But that's where I
correct.
was just like, if you just went with a little common sense there, you could have went with, it would be just occasionally.
Yeah.
You're not doing it on a Tuesday night at 7 when a
No.
game's at 7. But
I
like
thought
you
we
have
were
these
a
Saturday
hockey
nights-
nation.
Why? You had like pointed out, like there's a few like afternoon games coming up here in Edmonton. I think it's back-to-back Saturdays. that
3
are at 2.
straight Saturdays, 2 o'clock starts.
In Edmonton?
Oh, but they're on the road on a couple of them. One
Yeah.
or 2 of them, yeah.
Because there's back-to-back 2 o'clock starts later this month, including the LA game.
Yeah.
Where our winner Chris is going to go watch.
That's right.
Potentially, or the Anaheim game. I
Blues
guess
are
it's
back
one
in
or the
town
other.
Saturday, though, right? The return game, hey?
Oh, baby.
Hey?
Revenge
Partial
game.
return.
Yeah, I guess.
Yeah.
We're gonna
just
build
still-
it up.
Yeah,
And
why
we're
not?
We're of course
Get a narrative going?
This is the Kisperi Kapanen return game, right?
Yes, that's what I- yeah.
Thought so.
Does Dylan Holloway get the video?
No. I'd like him.
A Tiffany Diamond, perhaps.
Perhaps.
That's tomorrow night, the Tiffany, hey?
Yeah.
Yeah, big. The game's
be
going to
cool.
start late because they're going to do a little
Connor.
bit more for Connor
Yeah.
McDavid. What's the chance Connor wants this?
He loves the individual award spotlight.
that's
Hey,
what-
just
right?
loves it. Loves nothing more.
Like,
Yeah.
what's the chance he does want that?
Well, speaking to people within the organization on the hockey ops side and on the business side, they approached him and they're like, "Hey, when you get to 1,000, like, we're thinking this. What do you think of this?" And he's like, "Why? I don't want that."
Yeah, that
He's
sounds
like,
about
"No,
right.
I don't want." I was like, "It sounds like Connor doesn't want his 1,000 point celebration." Everyone's like, "No, he doesn't. He's gonna get one."
Does
though.
he stay in the dressing room while they announce it?
Oh,
Too soon?
boy.
He's focused strictly on the cup.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, hey, it's
I respect that, but I also think the organization understands that the fans want to celebrate. This.
Absolutely.
The fans are the ones that
Absolutely.
want to be there. And,
I think he
and
gets that
honor
too.
Connor
He gets
for
that too, yeah.
Absolutely.
It's at home.
So he'll sit there and he'll, in his mind, just be like, can we
Go
get this
through it.
over? Can this be done? Can we start the game?
Lauren accepts this. Yeah,
But he'll then be fine and
Yeah.
watch.
Yeah.
He'll just go off because
We'll survive it.
He'll be pissed off because of it, and he'll go off
Probably.
for like 4 or 5
yeah, you're
points.
right.
in that
Yeah,
game.
yeah.
Hey, listen, this is the first time an Oiler has achieved 1,000 points since Mark Messier. I think it was like February of 1991.
Big thing.
Yeah,
Esteemed company.
it is. It really is. It's 33 years ago. So almost 34. Enjoy it. It'll be great. It's going to be fun.
Yeah, Connor.
These guys are doing amazing things.
What'd you say?
I said, yeah, Connor, enjoy it.
Yeah.
Like we all will. It's just him that
Sure.
kind of will be
The
like
one player. Oh, the players really get
the
into
one guy
it.
that's
Yeah.
getting it. yeah, yeah.
Like really,
Yeah,
like trying to
yeah,
like.
I do.
pointing
That'd
at
be
things and
funny.
rubbing-
That'd be
But like,
funny,
I don't
yeah.
want Leon to be doing it because that's just the too easy one. Like, I want like,
Yeah.
I don't know, Drake Kajula if he was still around, like that type of
He's
stuff.
been sent down.
I know that's what I'm saying. If he was
Yeah.
still around, like
Matthias Yammark just gets wasted. Like he's just,
just fully
yeah,
in there.
celebrating already. Yeah.
That's what I would like, but that'll be
That'd
fun
be
to see. We do also, there will be the roster unveiling of the Four Nations face-off rosters later today. Coming up this afternoon, it will be Team Sweden and Team Finland, and later during the Reed Wilkins show with Jay Milne, I believe Team Canada followed by Team USA.
Wunderbar.
Those are going to be
The best for
unveiled.
last, eh?
I love what you guys had going with Wish there. That was so good. USA is going to be formidable. Formidable.
Yeah. Yeah, they'll be great. I mean, if you have a 1 in 4 chance of winning this tournament. So
Good point. That's what
everybody's
Finland's
kind of
telling
got to.
itself.
I didn't like, though, hearing Wyshynski talking about the team and be like, they could go with all this American firepower and they're choosing to like build a team.
Brock
Yeah.
Nelson.
And it's just like, this isn't the Olympics.
It's Olympic preseason.
Yeah.
It's Olympic. And it's also like, as Wyshynski pointed out, this is a chance to get the casual American sports fan maybe excited to watch a hockey game because when Canada takes on the U.S. Go for high score.
How do you suck in the American viewer?
Yeah.
Like somebody from the hockey ops, like Gary Bettman should have went like, look,
intervening.
I understand you guys
I
want
love
to
it.
win this. I understand but this isn't the Olympics. Can we put a little emphasis on entertainment a little more than like defensive hockey and let's suffocate things or something like that. Like the fact that Wyshynski's like, we could have had the most firepower ever that we've seen from American roster at an international event. And it's like, nope, they're not doing that. Okay, thanks.
Great.
It's like the in-season. They want the win. Screw entertainment. They're gonna drill you down.
Yeah, Tage Thompson, 13th forward. What? The guy's phenomenal. I know he's not having the best year, but like he's so good.
Yeah, I just would have liked to have seen the push to have some fun with this. Like, I think John Cooper will play around with his lines. I hope he does. Like, I hope he plays little fantasy GM here, and at times puts McKinnon with McDavid and stuff, and moves things around and tests things out for 2026. That's what this kind of is. Like these four nations get a little advantage that the other ones don't get. But let's put a little entertainment focus on this.
Yeah.
If Canada loses the four nations, we're not going to be up in arms.
Well,
We think we will be?
I won't be able to sleep. If you finish anything but first in a tournament of 4 nations, there should be an inquiry, an investigation, maybe. Hey,
I respect where this is coming
well,
from.
are we taking this seriously or not?
Good point.
It's both. That's what I want them to do, but they're taking it serious.
It's Olympic preseason, though. That's the best definition of this.
Play with things that you won't do at the Olympics. Play with things that you won't do at the Olympics.
Yeah.
Experiment. Because if it works, maybe then you'll use it at the Olympics.
Absolutely.
Have some fun.
Here.
That's where, like, if you're the American, go with the full of American firepower, and if it works, okay, you could do that at the Olympics. And if it doesn't, then next year you could go with the default and be like, you know something, maybe we should build a little bit more of a team. Let's go with some of the more veterans.
So what if Skinner isn't on this team? So what if, Bouchard and
exactly
the Olympics is when it matters.
100%.
And not during the regular season here where they're kind of competing for a cup. I wouldn't want, if I'm cheering for a team, I wouldn't want any of my players anywhere near that tournament.
I said that months ago.
Yeah.
I think Oilers fans shouldn't be up in arms. Like, you want as few players announced to this tournament as possible.
Just say them.
Because right off the bat, you knew Leon wasn't going.
Yeah.
You want as few star players going and good players, like key players for a cup run as possible to go to this. McDavid obviously has to go.
Has to. I know, but that's just...
He was always going to be there. Ekholm likely going to be there.
Yeah.
The fact that, I'll say the Oilers lucked out with the fact that Hyman, Skinner, and Bouchard, none of them are potentially going to make this roster based on what the TSN insiders had yesterday.
In a tournament geared to generate American interest. Olympics, I understand. I'm not losing players for a rinky-dink.
It is rinky-dink, this tournament. It's supposed to be a World Cup. They pooped the bed on this one when it came to the World Cup. Remember, they tried to delay. And finally, they came up with this as a alternative, and it's just, I don't know. I'll watch it, but I won't be pumping my Team Canada chest as much as I want us to be victorious, because we are the nation of Canada, Matthew.
No tailgates, eh?
No,
but we'll have the funspiel Canada.
We'll have the funspiel, yeah.
Can we talk about that? That's...
Actually, the logo unveiling is going to happen on Friday, so I could start slowly talking more about the EST funspiel. We'll talk about it today. In
Dates, registration, all that.
I'll get into that in our meetings later today.
Can't wait.
Stephen Bartholomew Tube Socks showed me a rough draft of the logo. It looks very fun.
He showed you a rough draft of this?
I held him at gunpoint.
Well, no, so he initially said, I'm working on this. Would you like to see what I've got so far? I was like, no, I want to wait. I wanted to wait for the final product. And yesterday he texted me going, I got it, the final product. And I was like, oh, cool. Can I see? He's like, I thought you said you wanted to wait till Friday because he's going to be on the Hangout on Friday.
Yes.
And I was like, Well, no, I kind of meant now.
You
And
want
he's
just the final product.
I just wanted to see the final
he's got
product.
it.
I
Yeah,
didn't
yeah.
want to. I didn't need to wait till Friday. Now he's making me wait till Friday, and he's like, "Well, I'll let
Attaboy.
you have the first look at it." But now you've seen a rough draft.
I
of
saw
it.
a rough draft. I forced him
Thanks,
to.
Steven. You're lying to me, Steven.
Yes, Steven.
Probably not even listening right now. I'll have to text him and stuff like that. That's very unacceptable. But no, so we'll have Funspiel Day is the same day that Canada and the US will play. So I got to figure out how to
Wow.
get some TVs like to the rink.
They at Shamrock, they have some upstairs.
But out on the like while
out
we're
there,
curling.
yeah. Good point.
Maybe if we could find a way, like even if I have to bring a couple of our TVs,
I heard Zach
we
Dickum's got one.
set them up and
You might have a few.
could we set them up and just
I'm
have
surprised
them
we're
playing
even
there
curling that day. We should.
when
National
Canada US
holiday.
plays?
That should be exactly.
Yeah.
Like
Four nations face
I'm
off.
surprised they're going to be open. You should just everything should be shut down. Nation, V Nation.
Nothing happens.
Nothing. No commerce.
Just
No,
emergency
exactly. Trading stops.
emergencies. That's
And
it. Like
weekends, I guess, but-
hospitals.
No,
That's it.
everything's
And
done.
you don't even want hospitals.
everybody
nothing,
just
nothing.
hang on for a couple hours.
Shut down the power, except for televisions or whatever.
Exactly. Huffy the Clown in the Paris Jewelers inbox in regard to the tailgate idea says, it's the colorful folks that inhabit the neighborhood, in my opinion, and the permit BS too. The colorful folks, there are a few, yes. They have the new center that's
You
being
do other
built.
things downtown. There's.
Oh,
I mean,
yeah.
Winterval was on the other weekend. It didn't stop anybody. You know,
Yeah, Winterval was
There's
great.
places to do it. And
Yeah.
Yeah.
Commonwealth's not exactly is always the best area, and
No,
they make
that's
it work
true.
there. So
It's
you could get it
fantastic
done.
there, yeah.
You could get it done, no question,
Yeah.
if you wanted to. But hockey, to me, doesn't like to have fun.
I agree, actually. You go to the game.
Or if it is, you
you're
have to
gonna
pay
sit there
obscene
silently and
amounts
you're
of
going to
money
be
to
entertained.
get into
Or
the fun.
you wait till it's playoff time.
Yeah.
Now it's big. Now it's a big deal. So now we can have a little more fun or do a little bit more and stuff. But like, I don't know, a few more things to do in the winter. Set up a tailgate area or something during where they have the 10th.
One tent.
Yeah. The tent's
It wouldn't
just-
take much.
Oh, do something.
People would
tent's just
find their own
sitting
fun.
there.
Yeah.
Speaking of like having fun at games, last night the Oilers were in Vegas, obviously. We were at the game in Vegas last year. You guys got a firsthand. That was my
yeah.
second game covering there. But like just the atmosphere. I know it's Vegas, I know. But like you can go there and they're having fun, right? It's a little bit of silly, but at the same time you are there for the game, but you're feeling the bass and you're listening to cool
Well, the
music.
intros, that
The
whole
intros are
intro
great.
play that they have
Yeah.
with the night
The
and
nights
the,
they fight and then they come out.
Yeah, like listen, you can
DJ's
really only
going.
do that there.
It's a great touch.
But
Yeah.
the DJ thing
But it's
and the
something
air
unique every
siren.
night. For
And they're
your
siren
opponent.
every period.
Yeah.
Like they have someone doing that every period. Like usually most like NFLs, it's that opening kickoff. They don't do it for every quarter or
Yeah.
halftime and stuff. And they do it for all three. And they
Yeah.
try to bring out people for all three.
Yeah.
Fortunately, there's always people of note in Vegas. Now, surprisingly, there's generally quite a few people of note lingering around Oilers games.
Urkel came to that one.
Yeah, Stefan Urkel. But yeah, I don't know. I just think you're right. We get too serious sometimes about hockey.
Redbeard says, be careful. If we tailgate, the wave might start earlier.
You stop that right now, Redbeard.
Well, yeah, in the
Stop that
spirit
right
of
now.
fun, I guess. Yeah.
The risk of that. So I never thought of that one. Never thought of the bad one. We don't want people all upset.
there
Aiden
are
Hill,
ways to fan, yes.
Aiden Hill looking good. Interesting.
He looked good. I don't think he was like standout great. I said this morning too. I think their team defense, especially after allowing 6 to Utah in the game prior at home,
Right.
They tightened it up. That was a good game.
Yeah.
It was a good game. You as an Oiler fan too. I mean, you know, I know you guys
Successful
got into
road
it
trip.
with the Skinner goal and everything, but
Yeah.
you take the road trip.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we
yeah.
did.
Great road trip.
Yeah. This was always the one you'd mark with an L.
4 out of 6 points.
Lowercase
You'll
L.
take that any road
Lowercase
trip.
L, yeah.
If you take 4 out of 6 every road trip, you're laughing.
You play this one back,
Absolutely.
they're probably getting a goal. They'll win it in overtime. And a game maybe screaming out for a guy like Hyman in front of the net to bang in a greasy one. Maybe.
Yeah.
That would have been tailor-made.
That's a great example or a great point because there was an example of that where I think it was Jeff Skinner. There was a puck lingering after Hill was sprawled out, and whoever caught him on the back check or in front of the net was just like overpowered him. And Zach Hyman is strong and he is determined and he usually gets to those pucks, and that's one that he could bang in the garbage. Whereas Jeff Skinner got overpowered and could get his stick on the puck, and Hill was able to cover it up. And that might have been a goal if Hyman was in that opportunity that Jeff Skinner was in. Good point.
No penalty. It was a weird game. No penalties, right?
That is
Like,
always weird.
all that thing, and I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was playoff. Like midway through the second, it kind of turned up and never looked back. And
Good hockey game.
yeah,
Is this not a projected playoff right now? If they started today, I haven't looked. I know it was last week at one point.
Yeah, I don't know what the wild card. They're fifth in the div.
No, as of today, the Oilers would head off to Minnesota, and they would join the Central Division.
Tough matchup there.
They're a wagon, eh?
Yeah, right.
Calgary would get Vegas as of right now. So, but the Oilers do have a game in hand, and if they win that, I think they jump Calgary. The Avs currently sitting outside of a playoff spot.
Shucks. They came back on Buffalo yesterday.
Yeah.
People are not happy in Buffalo.
Nor should they be.
Well, they're right where they're used to being. That's
a decade
sabering.
and a half.
The Sabres are sabering.
4-0, you blow a 4-0 lead. Mm-hmm. Like the Pagulas are so lucky that they got the Bills right now.
Mm-hmm. Oh, and the new stadium coming in, everything. There's a lot of good.
The shelter, it's the shield that they have for the Sabres.
Yeah.
Look how good Josh Allen is. This guy's going to go win an MVP. You know, things are great in Buffalo when it comes to the Bills. The new stadium, although I think there was a little more criticism this week from outside of Buffalo, not necessarily within Buffalo, that new stadium won't be domed.
Yes.
But it's gonna be partially they're doing it like a soccer stadium with, so if it rains and if you're sitting in there, the players the field will still feel the effects of the players, but most people seated
and they will add the whatever they do at Lambeau and stuff to heat the grass.
Yeah.
Because they don't have that in Buffalo.
No. And I was curious because Tirico was talking about the new stadium and like the construction's on time. I'm like, oh yeah, let's take a look at that. So they have a couple of live cams on YouTube of the stadium construction, and it's right beside current Highmark Stadium, and you can just see like how massive it is and then how like it makes the old one look rinky-dink.
Oh, but the old one looks so like that old style, just circular ring type.
And it's dug into the ground.
The dimensions of those old ones, once they're gone, they're gone.
It's
right?
very
I love
Commonwealth.
it. Yeah. Packing them in.
Yeah.
2026 will open.
Yeah.
It's supposed to open for not this season, the season after.
Good that it's enclosed to an extent so that you don't have to hire people for $20 an hour plus free food and drinks to shovel seats out like they did last week, but
it's part of the charm.
Yeah,
I like that stuff. Gets people talking about it, right? Like,
I guess I mean if the temperature's okay, like it was for that game, and you can keep the field relatively clean prior to the game, and then let the elements have at it during game time, that's fine. I think it's all right, but. Yeah, like Minnesota's stadium is phenomenal. SoFi Stadium is phenomenal. The one in Vegas is so cool. I've been to AT&T Stadium. It's wonderful.
The sun, you get the sun.
Yeah, well, it took 15 years for CD Lamb to complain about that. No one else has bitched and moaned about it till CD Lamb.
It's the right time. It only happens once every 50 when the sun's in a position in the sky during an afternoon slate. That's when
the first time ever.
Yeah.
I will say the Pagulas must have been told that they'll never get a Super Bowl. That's why they didn't build a dome. Because we've seen them go north to Minnesota with a Super Bowl.
Yeah.
They've gone to Indianapolis with a Super Bowl. They've gone to Ford Field with a Super
They
Bowl.
did New York.
That was but that was outdoor, and that's special because it's New York.
Yeah.
I don't think they're not risking the outdoor too often.
Yeah.
So they must have I hope at least the Pagulas went. Can we get a Super Bowl if we get a new stadium? Either the NFL, if they said yes, but it has to be domed, then they didn't get a dome, or if they didn't ask, it's a huge mistake on their part.
Right.
Sure.
Because of the economy. So I'm assuming that they probably went and said, hey, can we get a Super Bowl? And the NFL's like, we're never bringing it to Buffalo.
Then no dome. Hello.
Shawn Bell is now here. Slow-moving traffic.
New haircut. Very nice.
Thank you, Lieutenant Eric.
Thanks, Rick.
Lieutenant Eric was the placeholder for Shawn Bell, who now joins us here on the EST Hangout, presented by Sentinel Storage, who's taking his slow sit into the chair.
Very
Being
good.
smart
Slow
today.
sit.
Ooh,
Yeah.
nice.
Thank you.
Fresh,
Yeah,
too.
Would we call that a Merlot? This shirt hoodie?
Sure.
I think it's a Merlot.
Is it
Just
Merlot?
called the burgundy?
Burgundy? Maroon?
That's what I would have went. Maroon. Maroon's probably a good one.
Yeah.
It's a good color.
Very
Thank
nice.
you. Brings out the color to my eyes.
Always.
That's
I
beautiful.
was just thinking that too.
That's beautiful.
That's beautiful.
How's it going, guys?
We're
Hello,
good.
Elsie.
We're
Sorry-
talking
sorry
football
I'm late.
stadiums right now
Oh,
in Buffalo.
Yeah.
And how I don't
Oh.
think that if they probably one of the reasons they're not getting it domed is probably they were told that they'd never get a Super Bowl. So then keep it outside.
That's fair.
Because if you had the chance of getting a Super Bowl, you're going to take that shot. You're going to put the dome on there and you're going to try to bring a Super Bowl to Buffalo. They've gone up north a few times. Like they've gone to Indianapolis and
Yep.
Detroit.
I know. It's tough.
Dome or indoor stadiums.
But those cities, like, so they must have like got a full like, yeah, we're never bringing this to Buffalo. Sorry.
It's such a home field advantage though. Like
The
if you
outdoors?
can if you can practice out there and like you kind of get used to the cold,
To
and then
Kate.
all of a sudden a team comes in and they're like, man, like we can't do this.
San Fran couldn't do it. That's for damn sure.
Miami can't do it.
Yeah.
I'll
'Cause
yeah.
Did you see? So to add to that, so did you see Coach Prime the other day? So Colorado played a team from the south. I can't remember who they played exactly, but one of his pregame speeches was basically, "I don't want to see any softness. There's no hand warmers. This is football weather. Let's figure it out." It was chilly. It was like 33 degrees Fahrenheit, which is chilly.
That's getting
that's-
close to
That's zero. 32 is zero.
Yeah.
And he's like, "We practice like this. We're used to it." And they won 52-0. There's something to it.
There is, but I saw a thing this weekend about the Bills Stadium and how they have this home field advantage, yet they've been trashed for how many years? So what kind of home field advantage have they actually gotten out of it?
Fair. That's a very fair statement too.
Like there was, it's not like they've been to the playoffs and won Super Bowls or anything like that.
That's fair.
They go and they lose
That's
to the
fair.
Chiefs last year, and
Yeah, but I mean the Chiefs are just better.
no, absolutely.
Right?
But
Like,
there's
so
this.
there's always that argument too. It's like, okay, well, Miami, for example, they can't beat teams that are above 500. Yeah, but all those teams above 500 are better than them. So it's like one of those, well, yeah, maybe you could be in more games or it could be closer, but the reality is those teams are better than you anyway, and they should win. They should beat you. So like in that particular situation with Buffalo and KC, I'm sitting there saying, well, KC's probably the best team in the league.
And
should win
I'm
that
talking
game.
about playoffs last year because I know the
Oh,
Bills
right.
won this
Yeah,
year. I just
yeah.
want to throw that out there because somebody might come be like, oh,
yeah,
Chiefs.
they would.
No, it was last year. I'm talking about playoffs and things like that. That's just, but it's just fun. I when I saw that comment, I chuckled too. I'm like, that's a decent point. Like this home field advantage really hasn't helped the Bills too much.
That
They've
is
been
fair.
pretty trashy for a while, but that's
That is
also
very fair.
what's wrong with the Sabres though.
But didn't they win 5 years in a row, 5 division titles now?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Chiefs have gotten them.
the Jets are the Jets. Let's start
Jets
with
are the
that.
Jets.
The Patriots have turned to trash.
Yeah.
And
the fish sticks.
Dolphins
When they
got
go to
good, but then
South
they got
Beach.
hurt.
Yeah, but when they leave South Beach and they go to cold weather, ay.
Last year could have been their year to win that
been.
division.
It was supposed to
They
be
got,
this year too.
they got a
but
bit of injuries.
some days I question my loyalty.
It's you guys aren't far
How
off from a
about try
playoff
being a
spot.
Cardinals fan?
Oh yeah, we're in the same.
Did you see how bad they blew it against Minnie last minute?
Yeah.
They were first and goal. Take I think it was intentional grounding penalty. Go first and goal from the 20. End up with the field goal. Take the lead with a minute left. Minnie marches and wins it on a touchdown.
Ooh, yeah, playoffs will be tough.
Yeah. Darren from
Throwback,
Bakerville texted in. Said Buffalo couldn't build a dome due to the lake effect. Too costly and dangerous to build that large of a roof. I didn't know about that. Is that a thing?
I don't know.
I'm no engineer or architect.
Yeah, I'm not even going to try to comment on that. Sounds accurate.
That sounds weird to me though.
Yeah.
You can't have a roof just because of a lot of is it because you could get that much snow falling on it and you don't want
maybe.
need all that weight on it? But then there's
Maybe.
got to be ways
But there's
to,
other places
to create
that have just as much
engineer it.
snow.
it falls off or something
Yeah.
like where a slide goes off it or something.
I don't know.
Heat the roof.
Is there not other places that have domes that
Have lake effect?
are in really snowy cities? that
Well,
have
what about
lakes?
what about Detroit?
Yeah, well, does
They're
Detroit
right
get
on-
the lake
well,
effect?
They're on the lake or the river.
But it's also, are they right there that they could have the lake effect? Because they were talking on the NBC broadcast that they were in Buffalo. Like, I don't know. I've never been to the city of Buffalo. You two have. They're saying that they were in Buffalo. There was no snow. And then when they got to the stadium, there was a bunch of snow.
Yeah, stadium's in a I can't remember the name of the suburb. Yeah, and I think it was
And that's the snow, or that's the lake effect kind of a degree to that. Like, just
Yeah.
right
Just
there, they're
that
getting
area?
pounded.
Yeah.
But actually, inside the city, they're not getting much.
it's very acute
yeah,
where
that
it
could be.
hits.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Good take.
I'd have to
Like
read
it.
into that.
Collinsworth
again?
was talking about
Who said that?
not Han Shorkoff. Darren from Bakerville.
Darren from Vegreville. Very smart, man. Nice work.
If right.
If right.
If
nice
right.
work.
We think he's very
man, it
smart.
sounds
Give
like
him the
you're
benefit
going
of
with
the doubt.
Absolutely.
Did you want to read another one? Is that why you pulled Huntorio?
I had Han Shorkoff.
Oh,
So did you guys say maroon? Perfect fit for this team. We're talking about Patrick, who just celebrated his 800th game. And then Darren from Vegreville also followed up, said Buffalo is in a unique location being that close to east side of the Great Lake. And yeah, like we talked about how that you've been through it. Like the weather there is ridiculous, like how it hits, and then you're just like, it was sunny and warm 10 minutes ago, and now there's a foot of snow on the ground, and it looks like a blizzard. It's like it's unreal how it changes there.
What a city!
Yeah,
What a city!
I guess.
Do you want to just leave it at that?
I just want to leave it at that.
Yeah.
Portions of this hour of the EST Hangout, they are brought to you by the High Product Marketing, official merch partner of Edmonton Sports Talk. Promotional products that bring the buzz. Check them out, thehighproductmarketing.com. The AFC race is almost full. Like, it's almost figured out. The Chargers,
cold weather
the
cities,
Ravens,
man.
and the Broncos are all either 8-4, 8-5. Then there's the Colts at 6-7, then the Dolphins at 5-7.
Yeah, that's not happening.
So the Ravens have a little bit of a tough schedule. They could still get knocked out a little bit. Can't believe they still
By
lost
who?
to the Raiders this year. Well,
They lost to the Was it in Vegas?
No,
Oh man.
went to overtime. They blew a big lead. They got the Giants in 2 weeks. They have a bye week. They get the Giants. But then they get the Steelers and the Texans, which will be two tough matchups. And then they get the Browns to end the season. So they need to go, and they've already lost to the Browns this season. They just need one win, should put them very close, because what do the Colts got? Colts have the Broncos. Hopefully the Broncos win. And then they got the Titans, the Giants, and the Jags. Colts could go 3-1 down that stretch.
The thing is, the problem is you got to go through three cold weather cities, try to get to the dance. KC, Buffalo, Pitt.
Oh, the Ravens. I'm not worried about the cold weather.
I know,
They're
but I'm
cold
just saying, like in terms of the AFC, you got to go through three cold weather cities, and all three of those teams play hard.
Yeah, if the playoffs start today, the Ravens get Pitt to start. I like their chances against Pitt.
Pitt's been playing well, man.
No, I know, but those two teams, I don't care how good they are. I don't care who's better than the other. When those two teams meet, they're tight games, and they come down to basically the last possession. This is true. And all the Ravens have to do is try to get that last possession.
But I feel like Pitt does a better job of limiting chances. They don't score a whole lot, and they don't give up a whole lot. So you got to be like completely dialed in with everything that you do. Can't have those mistakes.
They've got a sound team right now. They were doing it with Justin Fields before Russ came back healthy, and now they're doing it still with Russ.
Do you think that Mike Tomlin could be one of the most impressive coaches
Yes.
of his time?
He's one of the greatest
he's
ever.
Has never missed the playoffs.
I don't think he's been below 500.
No, he's missed the playoffs, but he's never been below 500.
I don't think he's ever been below 500.
Yeah.
Did you
and that's
see,
a long career.
Impressive.
Did you see the clip of him walking back to the locker room, and one of his players was like, "Man, you mic'd up?" He's like, "Shut your ass up."
I did see that.
I watched that, and I'm like, "That's when you know you own your team."
Yeah.
And you have their undivided attention and respect. I was like, that was hilarious. He's just, "Shut your ass up," and he walks into the room.
3 times in his career, he's been 500, but he's never been worse. No, I think it was last year, or was it 2 years ago? There was talk of maybe the Steelers moving on, and he'd go to Washington or something like that. And as a Ravens fan, please get rid of this guy. Go, move on, do it, go, like fire him, get him out of there as quickly as you can.
It's the only team Lamar can't beat.
I've been terrible against him, but Tomlin is one of the best coaches that there is. He hasn't won enough, but he had a Roethlisberger, but like imagine what he would have had if he had Patrick Mahomes or if he had Tom Brady.
Oh my God. It would have been unbelievable.
Like he's just an excellent coach, and any team would be lucky to have him. And also, he's only 52.
Yeah. So he's got some miles left.
What's his 16th season?
Started in 2007, so I'll count the seasons here.
And he won
2, 4,
against the
6,
Cardinals
8,
in 08.
10, 12, 14, 16, 17, 18th season.
18th season.
Yeah, that Super Bowl I always felt bad because...
Thank you.
Well, I was cheering for I was a Ravens fan. I hate the Steelers, so I was definitely cheering against the Steelers.
Yeah.
I wanted Fitzgerald to get a ring.
Oh, he was brilliant in that game.
And in one of those, that was it right before half, the pick 6 at the 1. That's the play. Like they couldn't tackle
Yeah.
Jamie Harrison
Yeah.
at any other point. Like if they stopped the Steve Cards win that Super Bowl,
That would have been
huge
awesome.
turning point for that.
Yeah, Fitzgerald would have been nice to get a ring there, but
Great ambassador for the sport too.
yep,
Yeah.
just weren't good enough though.
That toe catch
Just a little
was
bit.
amazing. Where Buddy kept his toe like just inside the line, stretched out.
Is that
Who was
Santonio
that?
Holmes?
Yeah, it was
I think it was.
right at the corner, the back corner of the end zone.
Yeah.
I think that might have been Santonio Holmes. That was the year. That was the first time I ever noticed a player do it. But I think that was the one. Larry Fitzgerald had this big run for a touchdown, and you could see he was looking at the scoreboard because he was paying attention to where the player was behind him.
Yeah,
Instead of looking back, he just used the scoreboard, and he talked about it after. He's like, there's a little delay on it, so you have
Yeah.
to be aware of that. But it's better than turning around. Just use this massive scoreboard in front of him to pay attention of how close is this guy behind me.
Yeah.
yeah,
The scoreboards now are unreal.
very smart.
I'll get more excited about NFL now as we get closer to the playoffs. The NFC is going to be wild to see who gets in.
Who's in the NFC right now?
You've got
Philly.
the Washington Commanders at 8-5 as the last playoff team. You've got the Bucks, the Cards, and the Rams all 2 games back. You got the 49ers and you got the Cowboys 3 games back. With 4 games to play or whatever.
I
it
feel
would
like
be.
San Fran's going to drop off
Yes.
without CMC.
Can't stay healthy.
Oh, it's so tough to watch.
See
He's
that
so
video?
Good. Yeah,
About with the calf?
brutal. But Dallas, I don't think it like.
No.
I just don't think
will-
Dallas has
yeah.
anything to
Well,
do to be able to get over the
Who
hump.
does Dallas have left? Dallas have the Bengals this week. Oh, that's the Simpsons game. They're
What do you
doing some
mean?
Simpsons thing on. You could watch it on TSN Plus. I'll have to find a different feed. Like, do you know how they do like those Nickelodeon games? And things like that?
Yeah, I
think
like
they're
that.
doing this where it looks like the Simpsons.
Really?
Yeah, I'll have to go. That one I'll
That's
actually go watch.
cool.
They get the Panthers, they get the Bucks, they get the Eagles, they get the Commanders. Yeah, that's going to be tough for the Cowboys. Who do the Cards have?
Cards get Seattle.
You get Seattle,
Yeah.
but then you get the Patriots, you get the Panthers.
Yeah.
Then you get the Rams again, then you get
Yeah,
the
you might
49ers
have
in the
a
last game
chance.
of the season.
I
Might have
know.
a chance.
And they're Jekyll and Hyde this year. They've won some games. You're like, hey, that was impressive. And then they've lost some games where it looked like they were going to win, i.e., last Sunday.
The problem is you're going to
You know,
run
with
right
the-
into the Lions and then just get ripped right apart.
Yeah, probably. And you know what, Belsey? Right now for the Cardinals, it's all about incremental growth.
Hey, playoff appearance. Nothing wrong with that.
Yeah.
No,
It's been
nothing.
a couple.
Oh,
of
but they
years.
wouldn't. They would run into the Eagles first. Lions
Yeah,
would get the
that's- well,
bye.
that's even better.
Unless the
still get
Lions
shredded,
blow
don't
this.
worry.
Like,
They'll
are
still
the
get
Lions going to
shredded.
lose a game?
They've already lost.
Oh, no, like another game.
Oh.
Sorry, I should have meant that. They've got an interesting schedule down the stretch. They get Packers this week for Thursday night, tomorrow for Thursday nighter. They get the Bills next week.
Ooh.
That's in Detroit. They get the Bears, they get the 49ers, and they get the Vikings to end the season. That might be for the division.
Could be. They're an impressive 180 differential.
Yeah.
That's unbelievable.
It's a good team over there. It's a good team.
They're tied for second in points for, and they're first in points against at 203.
Who's got the most points for?
Them with 383 and Baltimore with 383.
One team has 5 losses. Good job, Baltimore. 383 points scored. You're 8-5. Partly because their kickers missed kicks.
Actually, I saw a stat something the other day. So all losses combined were total of 22 points. And Tucker has missed 22 points.
In those 5 games.
Yeah.
Now, I wouldn't Matt work out perfectly the math, but
Yeah.
there's at least 3 wins in there.
100% there is.
At least 3 wins.
Sounds like Boris Beatty. Quickly.
That hurt.
Yeah. It's the truth and it hurts. The Aaron Rodgers Netflix special. I was watching the trailer for it prior to us hopping on here, and Maddie and I had a quick discussion, but this guy, he's in cuckoo land. Like, I'm going to watch it. I'm probably going to hate watch that first episode and then turn it off for the rest.
I won't throw it on. I won't watch the trailer.
I watched it and I was just like, this is going to be awful, but it might be
What
entertaining.
happened to him?
That's a great question.
Okay. Might I suggest something?
Sure.
He obviously great quarterback, Hall of Famer, champion. He's done those things. He is that. But can someone be so good for so long, get whatever they want, praised and adored, that in their mind they develop a complex where they think they know better than everybody else? Ego obviously feeds into it, and it takes them from the straight and narrow to Looney Tune land, because that's where he is.
I have a lot of time for exactly what you said.
Yeah.
I think as you say that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
The only thing I have to know is I don't think we've ever fully understood what happened that caused the split between him and his family. Mm-hmm. That now, like, you look at that and go, okay, there's a reason that he split with the family, and what was that reason
Probably
and stuff, and how long ago was that, and when did that split kind of start? That I think is going to be the part where we see, okay, that's when he took that side road to Looney Tunes Town.
Yeah.
But I think there's a lot that could be into that. It's that, or it's always there, but he did a great job of hiding it for the longest time.
Could be.
And now he's fed into it. And with the way, society has changed over the last, 5 years.
Yeah.
With
with
COVID and stuff, where it's like things have then just blown up, and then it's like he
can be a little bit more free to say whatever he needs to say, and he's got more access to say it, and he's a different bird.
Oh man, it's just, well, like, he was with Olivia Munn.
Yes,
God, she's fantastic, by the way, and I think she's with what's his name? They used to be on SNL.
Olivia Munn
With
John
Mulvaney. Yeah, they just had a
John
child.
Mulaney.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but he had, like, he was dating all these supermodels, actresses.
Can you show me that picture again?
Picture perfect life.
Huh, good for him.
This guy's funny. He's a comedian, and he was a writer on SNL.
Yeah, good for him.
She was great in the
He
newsroom.
his coverage by
Totally.
about 14 football fields.
Yeah.
So good for him.
Are you calling him a dog?
Oh man.
Anyway, but yeah, like, it's just like, man, you've been told you're the best at everything and you're always right for years and years and years, and you lose that concept of reality, and you just skyrocket into La La Land.
I heard a thing on ESPN radio a couple of weeks ago where they were talking about where Aaron goes after this year, and like, would he go to, like, okay, he says if he's playing next year, his first choice would be the Jets. I don't think the Jets want him.
No.
So where does he go? And then it was like, so one of the talk is maybe the Titans or things like that. And they're like, Aaron Rodgers is going to turn into the thing that Aaron Rodgers didn't like when he first came into the league, which is that old guy that's sticking around too long and not letting that young guy develop, which is what Brett Favre was to him. Mm-hmm. And not knowing when to quit and when to walk away.
Literally doing that,
and he's
right
now turned into the guy that he kind of was like, because it's all been widely reported that Favre and him did not have a great relationship.
Yeah.
Now you're turning into that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And you can't get it done. So congratulations, Aaron Rodgers, on that, I guess.
Like, if you watch him, like, he can still clearly make the throws. He can still clearly read the defenses. Like, he does a lot of good things, but I feel like he's become so nonchalant that it actually is like working against him. And maybe then that's part of what you're talking about, is that, his mental capabilities or status is just allowing him to not just focus on football and play.
Maybe, yeah. Well,
It kind of seems like Russell Wilson. Like, so when Russell went to Denver, Russell wasn't really focusing on playing football. And so that's partly why Sean Payton was like losing it on him and got rid of him. And I think there was obviously some friction. At least it seemed that way. So I don't want to speak out of turn, but it seemed that way, that there was friction between Payton and Wilson. Mm-hmm. And then now all of a sudden Wilson goes, because I think he has a bit of a wake-up call getting cut. He goes to Pittsburgh, and now you see Russell Wilson. You're like, oh, he's back to being dangerous Russ. Right? Like, and maybe sometimes it just takes that where it's like, okay, like, I need a wake-up call here to get back to football. Because these guys have played for so long, and they're so good, and it's not like their skills have fallen off that far. But for Rodgers, it's like, you just need a wake-up call, man. Like,
is he beyond a wake-up call?
I don't know.
Because they've essentially gutted they fired the coach, GM's on the hot seat.
GM's out.
GM's out,
GM.
right?
Yeah,
That's
they fired
right.
the GM. I think
Pardon
just
me.
last week. It was late
That's
last
right.
week or whatever it was.
And then who was it that they brought in? Which receiver did they bring in?
Adams.
Devontae Adams, and he already wants to trade.
Does he?
Yeah,
Really?
didn't they bring in he wants out already?
Oh, that's a different player.
Who was that?
I think it was a holdout or something. That was at the
Hassan
start of
Reddick.
the year. Was
no,
it Reddick?
no.
No, it wasn't.
I think it was,
There was
Devontae Adams.
No,
that
no,
was like,
Adams
give
was
me
brought
out of here.
in like just during this season.
I know, and that's
but
why
there
it
was
was
a player
ridiculous.
in the offseason that they brought in because he was holdout. It might have been Pittsburgh or something. I can't remember where. And he wanted more money, so the Jets traded for him, and then he held out on the Jets.
That was Hassan Reddick.
And then they eventually, I think, got a deal done.
Yeah.
But he missed he missed like 8 games this season
Yeah.
or something like that, which was like, this player Reddick was just, it was really weird on that.
It's
that
weird
hit-
because the Jets were supposed to like be an up and coming team and compete for the division. Like that's what a lot of the preseason polls were like. Now you got Rodgers, you've got obviously a young up and coming receiver. Your defense was supposed to be one of the best in the league, and then all of a sudden that just fell right off a cliff. And there was so much infighting, and Robert Saleh, I guess, I don't know what he was fighting with Rodgers. Maybe I don't know what was going on there.
It's
But
just-
it just wasn't.
He's poisoned that whole franchise.
Yeah, it wasn't
Essentially,
good.
is what I'm trying to say, regardless of who's requested the trades. But yeah, they've had to gut their freaking coach, GM now, and then like I'm sure there's dissension among the ranks with the players. Ducky texts and says, "Tom's bang on." Thank you, Ducky. The guy is an absolute clown right now. Believes he's in Tom Brady territory, but isn't close. Arrogant beyond belief, and his skills have diminished because he doesn't work. Just thinks he's above hard work.
Yeah,
Thanks, Ducky.
fair.
Well, and that's, as you guys were talking about that, I was thinking of Tom Brady, and it's just like that guy, he lost relationship. He lost, his marriage was ended because he was just too into football.
Yeah.
He was too focused on football, but like he focused on the game, and football was his life.
Yeah.
And I think Aaron has too many things going on that he's trying to do, and he hasn't, in these later years, isn't committed enough
Yeah.
to the football and to working with his receivers and hanging, building that chemistry and doing all the stuff that is necessary to go win football games.
Yep.
And that is now, it's like, okay, unless you're going to now go back fully 24/7, be insane, football only insane,
I don't think he's going to do that.
then you're not going to be successful anymore. And no one's going to want to take those shots with you.
Yeah.
Like, I don't know what team would want Aaron Rodgers right now. Like, you would have to
The
be-
Raiders?
Well,
I don't even think the Raiders would want him.
Right?
Like that's just too much
You
of a
could
circus. Now you're in Vegas
Yeah.
in front of Circus.
Yeah. terrible hotel, by the way.
Mike Williams, Josh Clausen says. Is that the
Mike-
guy that was
Oh,
traded
that's
and
from
then
the
Yes.
requested?
Chargers, right?
Yes.
Wasn't Mike Williams from the Chargers?
I think Clausen's right. I think that's who he's like. He wants to trade already.
Josh, have you watched any more Jets games this year? Because I think he had a point where he tweeted that he was done. He wasn't watching any more this season.
Ooh, and Clausen's like he's
So
very
Jets to
loyal.
Steelers. He was upset.
Yeah, he should be upset.
There was a couple of tweets that he had.
Let's get
I'm gonna
Clausen
go
back in here.
Is he's a full on Jets fan?
Oh,
Oh,
yeah.
yeah.
Oh,
Man.
so
Yeah, he is.
Clausen, I'm
You like
calling you out a
pain,
little
man.
bit here.
Josh,
2
treat
years
yourself
ago,
right.
he's like, they're winning the division. And then when
Oh.
Aaron Rodgers went down, I was like, they're still winning the
Oh,
division. They didn't
my
win the division.
God.
And then this year
Big
was
Zach
they're winning the
Wilson.
division.
Oh
And
man, like Josh, who hurt you? If you need to talk, buddy, feel free.
Let's get
Come
him.
sit down.
We gotta have him
Let's
back
talk.
is
here.
this the thread? I think I've got a little. Oh, here's a thread. This is August 17th. He watched on Sunday, he says. Aaron Rodgers should never suit up for the Jets again. It should have been obvious weeks ago, but after this, cut him. Horrible clock management again, and a brutal coaching decision cost us 2 timeouts. They wasted 2 timeouts on their final drive, but that QB play isn't worth another start. If his name was anything other than Aaron Rodgers, he'd have been done long ago. I realize I'm just screaming into the void and should have stopped caring about this team weeks ago. But and where's our team? We need to stop. I can't. I'm done. I'm not watching another Jets game this season. Sorry, Josh.
Oh boy.
That's really funny.
Wow.
Time now for your weekend weather blast. I'm
Oh,
Josh
man.
Clausen.
But he watched this weekend. Why do you do this to yourself, Josh? Why do you do this to yourself?
Oh, that is so
He's
good.
a good man.
Hey, at least you know he's loyal.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I watched Sunday and lost my mind.
Are we gonna see a video one day of Josh walking up and just firing a Coke can right off his TV after a loss or punching it?
Oh, I hope so.
He's if there's one thing Josh is he's loyal.
No, that's
Knicks
good.
and Jets fan.
Yeah. Knicks and Jets?
Yeah.
Oof. God.
Yeah. So he has suffered with those Knicks
my
as well for
God.
a very long time.
No kidding. And they're gonna overpay OG Anunoby too, which is gonna be craziness. Oh, here we are. Good for you, Josh.
All right.
Yeah.
I think they
Pick
might
those
be.
teams.
Are they still in for the NBA Cup?
It's good picks.
They won their division in the NBA Cup, so they are moving on.
Good for them.
They got to the semis last year, if I'm not mistaken, and lost to Indiana. So they have a chance to be the winningest team ever in NBA Cup history. Possibly.
Nice.
The fake tournament in the middle of the season to
That's
make
the
people
one.
feel good about themselves.
That's
yeah,
the
that's a
one.
great tournament.
I'm only cared about the in-season tournament, not the NBA Cup.
Yeah.
You guys, the golden at-bat rule, seen that for baseball.
I heard about it. I was listening this morning, so I don't fully know what what they're trying to suggest or what they're trying to bring out. But
The minutia of it, like they don't have it like fully fleshed out, but it would be that one time in a game in the last, like starting in the 7th inning, you could put anyone you want up at bat. So if the bases loaded for the Toronto Blue Jays, they're down 3. It's the 9th inning,
can
and they're
put
at the
Vlad
bottom of the
back
order.
out.
They could say Vladdy, we're putting Vladdy golden at bat, but like they don't have like if he's on base and they want Vladdy again, how would they do that? Or if he's
Probably, yeah.
could they go back to back Vladdy? Can you go? We're gonna have Vladdy hit and Vladdy hit again, but then what happens with him? So I don't think they've fleshed that fully out.
Yep.
But they were talking about what would they like? What would you want in other sports? And Dusty threw out the 4-point line added in the NBA Cup, but then Eric brought up the report. It's regular season games.
Yeah.
You have to separate the two. I would love if the NBA separated the NBA Cup from regular season games. Go to a 76 game schedule or whatever. You fill out the rest with, or 78 games, and then you fill out your 4 games with the NBA Cup separate. Put the Elam rule in it.
That is a good rule.
Have the NBA Cup be ended with the Elam rule, and have regular season games still go the way you normally do it.
The Elam rule is a fun way
It is.
to end a basketball game. They do it in the CEBL. I watched Calgary beat Edmonton when Edmonton was up huge, and they couldn't hit any free throws, and Calgary ended up winning. It was unreal. It was painful if you were a Stingers fan, but it was a lot of fun, super entertaining.
And when they added it to the All-Star game, people loved it.
Yeah.
The Americans were like, it was great. And I don't know why they got rid of it from the All-Star game. But that's where I think like you could get away with actually doing something fun like the Elam rule in the NBA.
Yeah.
And you could do that with the NBA Cup,
Yep.
separate it from the regular
Yep.
season. You could still get your home playoff dates, just shorten your regular season by 4 games, shift this to the NBA Cup, and boom, just live with it that way type
Yeah.
thing. Or I guess
Yeah.
you go 76 and stuff.
What else could you do though? Like in hockey, it would have to be based off the shootout.
Well, remember we were talking with Kevin Lowe on Hello Hockey 2 weeks ago, and we were talking about the jailbreak rule, but then we were watching a Russian highlight
Oh yeah, you can't go back with the
over him,
puck.
and it's a penalty if you have possession, you go over the blue line. It's a penalty.
I just like that in general.
I think that would add so much more action to the game.
Well, for a 3-on-3, like it'll force a turnover at the very least.
Yeah.
Absolutely. You're gonna see
Yeah.
breakaways galore.
Like
I
if
think it would
you're
be-
going
I
one
think
way, you
it'd
don't
be
have time
awesome.
to reset and fix it
Yeah.
again. You
Yeah.
just got to go with it.
Yeah.
And if you
Yeah.
lose the puck, they're going to go the other way.
Better be smart.
I would like to see that one actually incorporated in the NHL. Because to me, it's like 3-on-3s almost become boring. Right? Because obviously there's so many guys that are smart. They're smart coaches, and they just, okay, we'll just puck possession. If you don't have anything, pull it out, reset, let's reattack,
Yep.
go from there.
Yep.
Hold on to the puck, get your change, do all the things that you need to do.
Especially if the Oilers send out their, Connor and Leon,
Yeah.
and they don't score. To me, your goal is, okay, get out there, maybe try to score, but don't lose. So we
Yes.
can get Connor and Leon back out there again, and
Yeah.
they can go win
Yeah.
this. So maintain possession, hold on to that puck
Yep.
in a sense, but do what you can, but make sure Connor and Leon can get back out there.
Yeah.
They just need a quick breather here.
Yeah, I think it'd be awesome.
I like that.
Yeah.
The golden, what was it called? Golden bat rule.
Golden at bat.
Golden at bat rule. It again. I stand by. I said it yesterday. Like it seems very arcade sports game 1990s.
That's a great way of putting it.
You know,
Like an NBA Blitz type thing, like
Yeah.
but like in the MLB
Jam.
version.
But if you
NFL
could just if you
Blitz,
change the name to not Golden at Bat, which I think that's part of the reason why it sounds terrible. But like you're trying to highlight your best player. So I get where they're coming from because obviously the best player is the guy that drives sales. But
and increase offense
Yeah,
to a degree
increase
because
offense.
as opposed to wasting an at bat with like
Yeah.
bases loaded or two guys on in a key situation, and you're going with a guy that can't hit that well because he's your catcher or whatever it is.
Yep.
You're throwing out a guy who's a better hitter.
Yeah. So I just think get rid of the Golden at Bat because I think that's what makes it sound awful.
Well, when I first heard of it, I thought it was like some way to like just end the game or something. Because like golden rule or the golden goal in soccer was it's
Game
the
over.
game over, sudden death. I was like, well, how are you adding like a sudden death thing? Like, what you could go like in the ninth inning, golden at bat. If we hit a home run here, it's over.
It's done.
Yeah.
We're done. The game's over. We gotta
Game
just call it.
Oh, that would be hilarious.
Clausen also just quickly adds, he adds, I'm done now for the rest of the season. Sure. Knicks are going to win the NBA Cup and the championship this season.
Bet.
oh boy.
So,
Well, Bones, in regard to Clausen, says Jets hate rap coming soon.
Yeah.
Why not?
I would like to see it. I'd like to hear it.
I don't think Clausen wants to mix business with pleasure there.
Oh,
Maybe.
Okay.
Maybe he doesn't want to spit all that fire against the New York Jets. We
And
don't
then
need
all
a
of a sudden
10-minute
and
long
then all of a sudden they're
rap.
good and that thing's out in existence and yeah.
Or maybe
local weatherman
say turn it
hates his
around.
own team. Goes viral.
This is the EST Hangout presented by Sentinel Storage, live on EdmontonSportsTalk.com. Tune in, iHeartRadio, YouTube, as well as wherever you get your podcast. Tom Gazzola, Shawn Bell, Matt Iwanyk with you here. The official drink of the EST Hangout. It is the Finnish long drink. Legend of 1952, a drink unlike any other sparkling refreshment, real liquor, longdrink.com/Canada is where you can find a liquor store nearest you that has it in stock.
Notice how well and professionally he handles those cards.
now.
Why don't you just toss them?
No, because he's like
Then
Pat Sajak.
I gotta, because I need some of them.
And they're pretty sick.
You gotta
Look, they have
reuse
Do you
a
want me to
logo on them.
read some
reuse
of
them?
them? So you want me to just do that when I'm
Don't
done?
do that.
Well, no, just
We
try,
gotta-
try to get it on the table. There
Yeah,
you go.
don't do that.
You want
You
me to
got to
do
Now
that?
you
keep
got to show a
those.
little skill by getting it on the table.
These are good.
Yeah.
So, yeah, you just want me to
really
like
good.
light toss.
You light
Don't
toss on
lightly
the table.
toss it.
Boom. Got
Or
it
it's you
done.
try to get at the camera.
Maddie, you cut these yourself, didn't you?
No, they're perforated.
Oh, they are?
They're postcards from like postcards you could print on.
Yeah, they're
And you
nice.
just fold
Very
them.
nice. And the way he handles and manages them,
It's like a little.
You
very
gotta-
professional.
That wasn't it though.
Like a
Clearly.
young
well,
Pat
now that
Sajak.
it's the whole Tony Rally, throw it at the camera.
I like Tony Reale.
That's the one right there.
I don't like that one because I was like right here.
Yeah, that's fair.
Like it's got to be back here.
Fling it.
You gotta have like that. That's anyone
Yeah.
could do that. Like, that's simple. Around the Horn going to come to an end next summer.
No.
Tough.
Where's Reale going? He's been
I
with it a
like
long
that
time.
show.
It's a
always
great
fun.
show. Yeah.
Just afternoon talk, sports talk. It's nice. It's
nice background.
Yeah.
Gets me ready for PTI, which is the one I care about.
I loved Best Damn Sports Show.
That was a great
It
show.
was a phenomenal.
There's some good ones out
Chris
there.
Rose,
Yeah.
John
John
Sally.
Sally, Carissa Thompson. That's where she made her debut. Tom Arnold was on it.
Yes.
Yeah.
Tom Arnold.
And
in
you're
front of
like,
Tom
what the
Arnold
hell's
with that.
he doing on here? But he was good. He was really good.
So why are they getting rid of it?
Budget cuts?
Is it budget cuts?
No, because
Around the
I don't
horn?
think there's a lot that goes into this. You have to replace the show with something.
It's a very
you have
easy
these
show
contributors that are
production-wise.
in different cities that you probably pay a fee to.
Yeah.
Reality's already paid on a salary. Like, there's not a lot that goes into
It was
the
just
show.
such good. It was
don't
like
know.
legitimate conversation.
Yeah.
And
Without
I really
screaming.
Yeah. And I can't handle these guys that just like Stephen A. Smith. I know he's the highest paid guy, but man, some days like
H. Schmill.
shut up, Stephen A.
I do get a kick out of his Cowboys.
Oh, when he
Mockery.
yes, I
I think
love
that's
that, actually.
phenomenal.
I think I want to send it to Pags every single time the Cowboys
Yeah,
lose. I
send
want to
that to
find
DVD
Stephen
too.
A's. Yeah. And
He a
just send
Cowboys
it.
fan?
Big time.
Yeah, big time Cowboys fan. That's too bad.
That sucks.
But I'm getting to a point where it's like, to me, if you're looking at sports talk, like shouldn't just all be yelling. And that's what it's gone to down
he
the
does a
States.
lot of yelling.
Stephen A. All he does is yell. And then who's the other guy that's on his show? Not Shannon. I can't remember his name. There's another guy.
There used to be Max Kellerman. I don't know if he's still on.
Kellerman's
with them.
gone.
They got rid of Kellerman?
Yeah, he's been gone for a while.
Oh wow. I didn't mind Kellerman. Some of his takes were kind of
There's another guy that just screams into the camera too, and I'm like, this isn't good.
Pat McAfee's their guy, right? Like that's the
Marcellus
show.
Willie, was he not on that show?
I'm gonna find it right here.
Skip Bayless is off TV in general right now, I think.
God.
Because he was on
That was-
Fox and they didn't sign him, and I think he's now done, and no one has picked him up as of yet.
That was him and Shannon Sharp that had their show, right?
Well,
or
it
was
him
that
and Skip
Coward?
started. It was Skip and,
Right.
and Stephen A. that were together on ESPN, and then Skip went there, and it was
yes.
Shannon Sharp.
That's
I
right.
think they were together for a while, and I don't know who else, but
That's right.
it was the two loudest guys together.
Yeah.
Can we get that again? Just combine
those
it
guys
into
just
one show.
screaming at each other?
Well,
Yeah.
just leave it on the one show.
Yeah.
And then every other show could be fine. We don't have to replicate it. Just to get the two loud most there. Then if you want it, you can
Just
watch
get
the two
all
best
the loudmouths
at
on
it.
at one time.
Yeah.
They go. It says name's Christopher Mad Dog Russo.
Oh,
He's the other
Mad
guy.
Dog.
Yeah.
Oh, he's a longtime legend because him and Mike Francesa, they were the guys from New York that did radio long ago, and they
Yeah.
had a big fighting and a fallout and
Yeah.
stuff. Yeah,
Mad
he's been
Dog
doing this
just
for
yells
years.
in the camera too, and it's
Yeah.
like, you know what, Skip, Stephen A, Mad Dog, you guys all go on one show. You know what, Shannon? I actually really like Shannon Sharp. He's cracks
funny.
me up. But you can go on that show too, and all of you guys just yell at each other for 2 hours.
Well, Mad Dog he made a bet. He said I would do something if something happened. I forgot what it was. And he then ended up not doing it. And it was like, well, that's like, don't say this stuff then. Don't sit there and be like, I'm going to eat my, my shorts or whatever. I can't remember what it was, but it was something a little outrageous.
Yeah.
I like Bill Simmons. I wonder what happened. Where is he now? And then
Bill Simmons has his own thing, The Ringer.
okay, right. I've heard of
That's
that.
all Bill Simmons. And then he does like podcasts with it and stuff.
Yeah, and where's Labatard now? Is he still doing
Levitard
his show?
does his own thing. He launched his own thing with the former head of ESPN, John Skipper. I don't think it's really gone as well as people would have expected.
Okay.
But I think you could watch it on YouTube.
Like I
think
like
you should.
Labatard. I really do. I enjoyed him. I thought he was easygoing and funny.
Colin Coward's the other guy.
Yeah.
He can go with that group. Shannon Sharp out, Colin, you're in. Now you got the big four. Go yell.
I could live with that.
Do you think that would be an interesting show though? As much as I've sat here being like, I don't like it as much, but if all four of them were just yelling at each other, trying to get their point out, there'd be actually no conversation.
Yeah.
No, and then they all try out like going with more outrageous comment to the next.
Yeah. And it's so biased. It's Lakers, Knicks, and those are the two teams that Clippers, I guess, a little bit just because they're in LA, but it's consistently talking about those teams.
Right. Yeah, they're
It's like
feeding
even
into
when
those
Denver
markets.
was winning, they were barely talking about Denver.
Yeah. Yeah, not surprised.
Yeah.
I actually like NFL Live. Is it Lauren Rutledge, Orlovsky? I think is Booger on that show?
Mina Kimes is on that
Barland.
one.
Mina
Booger Barland,
Kimes,
yep.
yeah. Yeah, that
never-
one's pretty good. I like it. Like if I'm not watching F1, I'll fire that up on a Sunday morning.
Yeah. Yeah, there's some good shows out there for sure.
Now I really want to know what that bet was.
You know
that he
who
had.
else they should probably get if they're going to get people that are just yelling at people? Have you ever watched Last Chance U?
I actually haven't.
And there was a couple, so I think it was like season 3 or 4. They get this Coach JB.
Oh no,
He's,
I've not seen this.
He is a loudmouth, but he's on Twitter every now and then, and he just shreds people that talk about football. And he's actually gone at Mina Coombs quite a few times. Get him on a show because that would be absolutely outrageous.
Does he have legit
Sometimes
gripes
he's got
with Mina
legit.
Kimes?
Is this guy on Fox?
No, he doesn't. I don't think he has his own. Like he's not on a TV show. He might have his own podcast, but Coach JB might be one of the most outrageous people in the sport.
Interesting.
His name's Jason Brown. He was on Last Chance U multiple times, and he is different.
Never heard of him.
But I kind of get a kick out of like just what he has to say to people. So I'm like, okay, you get him, Stephen A, Mad Dog, and Colin Coward on a show. That would be gold.
And they just yell at each other.
And they could just yell at each other.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, it would be good.
Interesting.
Yeah. When you get time, do a deep dive. Coach JB.
You do lots of deep dives, and then I just get the offshoots from you.
Yeah, well,
And I'm like, okay,
let's keep you up to date, brother.
I know you do.
That's how it's supposed to
Who
work.
was texting in? Oh, my dad. Reno says, Matty looks like Kramer when he got the Merv Griffin studio and interviewed the guy with the hawk, and George brought in the squirrel. Calamity ensued.
Here's one of them with Mad Dog. He says he'll retire if the Diamondbacks beat the Phillies in Game 7. The Phillies pulled off a 4-2 win against the Phillies in Game 7, or the Diamondbacks won 4-2. And he then just went back on it. He's like, I'm going to retire from this. I'm still going to be on TV. And it's like, well, don't make those claims.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, obviously, you weren't going to retire.
No.
But also, like, if they won, you'd be like, see, I was right. That's why I was able to stake my career on it. But they lost. And then he's like, well, I can't do that. Like, piss off.
Tell me how you really feel, Matty.
Well, stand by your saying. Stand by.
Like Charles Barkley does.
Yes.
Yeah.
I love Buck or Charles. I'm going to be fascinated to see how that show does when they go to when it's shown on ESPN.
Yeah.
Because they
were making fun of it
They were
a lot.
Well, it's subleased to ESPN, so I don't think ESPN has much creative control over it.
Like they were chirping ESPN so much that I was sitting there being like, ESPN can't be super excited about this. Like I think at one point Charles was like, ESPN going to get me working hard today. They're going to have me running around to Deportes. He's like, I can't even speak Spanish, and I'll be on it.
They know they own ESPN. That's so good. That's power.
There's a soccer panel that is probably now my second favorite panel. They're not TNT, but they're probably the closest thing I've seen. They're on CBS.
Who's on that one? Alexi Lalas?
No, Jamie Carragher, Thierry Henry. I always forget the other guy's name. And then Kate Abdo. She's married now, so her name's changed. They did this thing where this one French club's called Brest.
Yeah,
and
I saw that.
one analyst just
He
lost
was
it,
dying laughing.
and then they did a whole thing where like you're not allowed to speak, like we can't trust you.
Yeah.
And then they did a whole thing on breasts and like, what do you guys think about breasts? And one's like, I think they're in great shape right now. And
Yeah.
Terry Henry's like, sometimes you don't need two, small ones could be just as good as big ones, like, but all soccer related type thing.
Yeah.
And then I think Kate was just like, well, so do you think breasts will be exposed tonight because they're taking on Barcelona?
And he was
just
the
like,
one guy was
I hope so.
Yeah, dying laughing.
It was like a
that was a good
2-minute
one.
clip, and it was really well done. And that's probably one of the closest sports panels I've seen to the TNT Inside NBA. Is it Inside NBA? I think it's Inside NBA.
I think so.
I think so.
I'm glad that they're still sticking together.
Good.
I'll get a little more excited about the NBA now.
It's just such good television.
They are. Who did they have on?
They got to
They
do
had
a
somebody on instead of Charles
simulcast.
a
Though.
couple of weeks ago.
Draymond?
No, it wasn't Draymond. Oh, I'm gonna have to go look because he went to the monitor and no one chased him, and they like joked about it.
They got to do a simulcast. I need to know what these guys are saying during the games.
That would be fun to watch. Like,
Yes, it would.
kind of like a Peyton cast. Are they doing the Manning cast still? Is that still happening?
Yeah.
I haven't watched it.
Yeah, Belichick, I think, has been on quite a bit this year.
Really?
Yeah.
Belichick kind of has a sense of humor, doesn't he?
Yeah, once you're not stuck with football and
Yeah.
you start dating your 26-year-old girlfriend,
Oh my goodness.
you can get a little more lightened up, I
Yeah.
guess.
Old enough to be his granddaughter. Well,
She's just changing his depends.
oh boy. Oh boy. This is the EST Hangout brought to you by Sentinel Storage.
Canada's storage experts, more than 2 decades of helping Canadians through life's transitions, 50% off, 12 weeks. It ends December 15th. Sentinel.ca. Like going there, it's life's transitions.
Yeah, like when you go from regular underoos to depends with your 26-year-old girlfriend, switching them out for you.
Oh,
Well played, Belsy and
yeah,
Matthew.
thank you.
Oh my.
That's
Oh
teamwork.
my.
Yeah. Boom.
Flick it.
That one's done for the day.
Yeah.
Yeah. We'll just leave that one there. Ready for the Hockey Canada roster?
Yeah, I'm tired of all the speculation. Let's get some stuff out there.
Montembeau. Is that surprise?
Montembeau.
No,
Montembeau.
because they think Skinner played his way off of it.
But he's surprised it's not someone else.
Like a Logan Thompson or Cam Talbot?
No.
Did Talbot just get a little banged up?
Is he banged up?
I don't know. I thought I saw something in the nest
Oh,
chat
okay.
saying it.
But like,
I like Logan Thompson's playing rather well.
Yeah, he
I don't
is.
know.
Yeah. So it's Montembeault.
I understand why he's going to, because the games are in Montreal.
Oh, yeah.
It's mixed between Montreal and Boston. Like, he's never
Yeah.
going to be dressed.
No.
Yeah.
There's going to have to be an injury for him to be addressed. The third goalie doesn't matter largely. The second goalie, to a degree, might not matter in this such short tournament. But I have a feeling maybe that it's a way to add a Canadian to it while they're hosting.
Well, and I
quite a
think
few games.
they also said there's going to be a few surprises. Who are the surprises that you think they're honestly going to be?
Someone mentioned Brandon Hagel to me. I was like, what?
Well,
Third line left wing,
Why?
centered by Braden Point.
Braden Point.
That's what I saw. I saw that. I saw that this morning on my way into work.
well, wasn't TSN leak one?
I think so.
Or didn't TSN have a bunch? I know Dusty.
Drager, CJ, and LeBron apparently sussed it all out. Who the team is going to be.
I just got to now find the tweet for it.
While you're doing that, obviously, there's that massive stuff with the NCAA, and we can always come back to it. But right now, I just got a text from a buddy. 3 of the top players in the CHL are now being linked to the NCAA. Gavin McKenna, which would be a massive loss for the Medicine Hat Tigers. Michael Misa would leave Saginaw, go to Boston University, and Porter Martone also going to Michigan.
This is the effects of the NCAA
Yeah.
allowing CHL players in.
Yeah. So the new rules, right? Like if you start losing those guys, I think you're decimated. Do you find it?
Yeah.
Yeah. But what do we got?
McDavid in between Reinhart and Marner. Well, I guess I shouldn't say it like that. Crosby with Marchand and McKinnon. Point with Hagel and Stone. Sorelli with Bennett and Konechny. And Jarvis as the 13th. With Devin Taves, Cale Makar, Shea Theodore, Alex Pietrangelo, Josh Morrissey, Colton Parayko, and Travis Sanheim as the defense. So even Parayko getting on that, which seems a little. I know Doug Armstrong's not the GM of this team,
But he's an advisor.
He's an advisor, but he's the GM of the Olympic team.
Yeah.
Bennington, Hill, and Montembeault.
Is there anybody you would change on defense other than Parayko?
I don't know about Devon Taves. I'm just going to say it. Like, I know him and Makar are
Is
great.
it Devon or Devin?
It's Devon.
Is it Devon? Okay.
Yeah.
Good to know.
Who would I replace him with, though? Who would I replace Devon Taves with? Left shot, Canadian. Did you say Owen Power on that list or
Nope,
no?
no.
Okay, I think that's good
No,
that
Owen
they didn't
Power's
put
not
Owen
on that
Power
list.
on there because I know that some had him projected to be on there. Who would be a better left shot option than Devon Taves?
Well, they have
I
4
don't
left
think there is
shots
one.
there, and only 3 right shots.
Devon Taves is like the Chris Kunitz situation, in my opinion. When Kunitz made the team because of how well he was playing with Crosby, and it ended up being the right decision. So maybe Devon Taves is the right decision.
Do you think that was the right decision with Kunitz and Crosby?
Did they win the gold medal?
They got separated in the gold medal game. Kunitz did score though.
Yeah, it was. It ended up being the right decision. You ride the hot hand, the guy that has chemistry, and that might be the Taves situation. But I just think, like,
Can you name 3 players, 3 lefties better than him?
Canadian ones.
Yeah.
I like that Theodore's there. Is he better than Taves? I'd rather have Theodore, but they're both going to be on there.
Yeah. Okay,
that's
so let
fine.
me rephrase that.
Let me try to think of some.
Name 3 lefties that aren't currently on the team that could replace Taves.
I'm trying to think.
I know.
It's going to take a minute.
I know.
This thing ain't working. The wheel ain't turning that fast up
It's
here
not
this
turning
morning.
that fast because I don't actually think there is. Darnell Nurse?
No.
No.
The answer is no to that.
Who else would there be? There would be Noah Dobson, but he's a righty.
Yeah, so that's a
Power.
No, we said no to that already.
Who else would be there? Get this figured out.
Yeah,
I just don't
that's
think
a tough
you can,
one, man.
There's nobody else that
You're
you're
right.
really. Uyghur? Kenzie Uyghur?
That's a good one.
He's a righty, but I mean, doesn't really
Is he a
matter.
writer?
He's a righty.
He's ready. Okay.
Uyghur could be on that team.
Never mind then. I'm thinking left. I'm thinking strictly left shot, guys.
So strictly left shot. I think that even makes him more slim.
So I don't know where this came from. I'm just seeing. I'm just looking at projections. There's another like some from past to throw some names in there. There's one that had Bouchard, Dobson, Doughty, Makar, Morrissey, Power, and Taves. Taves does seem to show up quite a bit in these.
He's on every.
What happened to
projection.
Morgan Riley?
He fell off.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah. Maybe he's too offensive. defensive game isn't there.
So is that the same conversation as Evan Bouchard then?
Morgan Riley and Evan Bouchard.
Yeah.
Because like you've
Absolutely.
got these two guys that are, pretty solid offensive talent, but if they're on the team, they're basically just like you're not really doing anything for Evan Bouchard. So you're going to put him as the second unit power play guy. But like you could really realistically put Pietrangelo there. You could put Morrissey there.
Petrangelo's great.
Theodore there. And so now you've essentially taken away what Bouchard does well.
Exactly.
Because you're going to go 4 forwards on that first unit with Cale Makar. That's like a given.
Yeah.
So then the second unit, now you say, okay, well, it's a toss-up, and all those other guys are just defensively better than Bouchard and Riley.
Yes, 100%.
Or do you go with the second unit, or do you go Oilers' way?
Oilers way.
You almost don't even need that second unit.
Yeah.
So then the
Like
question...
the first unit's going to play a minute 30.
So the question now goes, okay, you get to the Olympics. Does the same scenario happen?
Yes.
I
Play it the same way. The
I
rules
feel
are
like
gonna be the
this is a very much a trial test. It's training camp for next year.
Yeah.
Pay attention to see what works, what doesn't, experiment a little bit, and go forward with that. I think the team that gets announced later today, and I want to double check the times on those. I think I would guess.
I think it's 11:30, right? This time?
That's just for the
Eastern
first
time
two.
For the first two, okay.
I get announced. But I think, like, of the roster, I would make a bet that probably 85 to 90% of the roster will be the roster name
on the
next year.
Olympics, yeah.
That would be my guess on
Well,
that
because,
one.
I mean, okay, so if you have Bouchard playing a little bit better
So for
defensively...
so at noon our time, Finland and Sweden will be announced, and then 4:30 and 5 U.S. and Canada will be announced. I think U.S. goes or Canada goes before the U.S., but 4:30 and 5.
Yeah.
Those ones.
So if you have Bouchard playing a little bit better defensively, does that put him on the team because
No.
of how good he is offensively?
No.
You don't think so? Because like he was rumored to be part of this team up until like just a couple weeks ago. I think this entire time he's always been rumored to have been on this.
I
team.
think he was an outsider.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's good. Don't get me wrong. And when he dials it in defensively, but those other guys. Well, maybe would you swap him for Parayko? I think Parayko is more responsible defensively.
Yeah, and Tamir Parayko just like he's not Parayko as he was just a few years ago.
No.
And all that. And it just feels like a little bit. This is Doug Armstrong and his player on the team.
That could be. It was
Could
like
be.
when Eric Brewer was on Team Canada.
Or is this more of a situation where they're like, we're so gifted offensively that we just need to be able to defend, and we're just going to need to get the pucks up as quickly as we possibly can to these forwards?
That could be.
Just get the puck to the guys
Yeah.
and let them do their thing.
Could very well be. Jason Bartholomew Milne via the text line, aka Glue Guy, says, "Why is Strome not in consideration?" Dylan, he's having a good year in Washington.
Who's he going to beat out?
I know, and I think, well, he's just feeding Ovechkin for the most part so far this year.
Yeah, I mean, I think Tom Wilson was in the conversation at one point too.
Well, that's because Ron McLean threw his name out there.
Is that what it was?
I think I don't know if Tom Wilson was ever really in it or if just Ron McLean on this Saturday, I think, said on, like, I don't know if they went through their teams or something. He threw out Tom Wilson.
Because he's been good too.
It's had a good season.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. It's been interesting.
Yeah. You
I
got McDavid. You got McKinnon. You got McCarr.
Crosby.
You got Crosby.
Let
Like
him rip.
your offense is ridiculous.
Well, and like Brad Marchand, I don't think is a deserving member for this season. But whenever
Correct.
he puts on the Canadian jersey, and him and Crosby have unreal chemistry.
Yes, they do.
We have seen that time and time again. Those guys, like at the World Cup when they were together, there was just it was easy points, easy goals.
And then you add McKinnon to that line.
Was Marchand World
Ridiculous.
Juniors after you, or were
After
you?
me, yeah.
Okay, not with you.
Like that chemistry right there, you go back to it. You see if it's still there. If it's still there here, you bring them. You're bringing them to the Olympics next year.
It's unbelievable.
That 16 World Cup, it wasn't fair almost. How good those guys were together. But that's where I want to see 5-on-5. I do want to see McDavid with Crosby at some point. I want to see McDavid with McKinnon at some point.
I would like to see them load up a line, and it's Crosby, McDavid, McKinnon.
Yes, with Makar on the back end, and then whoever on left side defense. Doesn't matter.
I would love to see that. And not in power play, because I know what's going to happen on the power play.
Sure.
But like
Okay, so what is the power play?
5-on-5, just man.
McCarr from the point.
Yep.
McDavid, McKinnon, Crosby.
Yeah.
Marchand.
No.
Who goes to the front of the net?
Stone.
Put Mark Stone there.
Stone there?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I like that.
So McDavid, Crosby, McKinnon, Stone, McCarr is your power play.
Yeah.
You pull the goalie. Who's your sixth? Marner? Marchand, Reinhardt?
I wouldn't mind Reinhardt. He's been playing very
Or
well.
do you,
Is Verhaeghe not on the team?
no.
No.
Well, we don't know, but you don't
Well,
think- you
from
don't
the
think
projected
he-
roster.
Is he not better than Hagel? Or is Hagel
I would
better
put
than-
Verhaeghe ahead of Hagel, honestly.
I'm not going to question
I'm
these
biased. I
insiders.
like him.
I'm not going to
He's
question
from-
these.
He's from here.
I
so.
know. He's a nice kid, everything. But like when I saw that, I was like, really? We're ready to put Brendan Hagel on our national team.
I bet it'd be Marner.
As a sixth,
If you have McDavid, Crosby, McKinnon, Stone, and McCarr out there.
Sam Bennett.
Ew.
A guy that's
Greasy.
Sam
just going to be
Bennett?
greasy.
That's so greasy.
Go get pucks.
Well, then do you take Stone off and put Bennett out there?
No, you said for the six.
Yeah, but
keep
like-
Stone out there. He's going to go net front because he's a mammoth. And now Sam Bennett is also going to stir up nonsense in front of the net.
That would be,
and you're going to allow
a
these other
nightmare
three
for
guys just
defensemen.
zipping it around.
yeah.
To Chris saying, isn't Stone hurt? He is, but it's expected he'll be healthy.
Yeah, he's
in
skating
time for
already,
this.
so
So
lower body.
I'm sure the Golden Knights aren't
Like I
happy
know
about that.
Sam Bennett would be an odd choice, but you know how much commotion he'd create in front of the net?
He's such an a-hole on the ice.
I know. And so you have him and Stone in front of the net, and he's just doing his thing. And then you've got these other four guys that are literally ripping pucks through seams.
Like McDavid, Crosby,
Snapping-
McKinnon, McCarr,
snapping
the four of
ankles.
those guys going together. Just
Snapping people's ankles.
I hope they don't go for goals right away. Like just
Oh,
go
man.
play. Just go play around for like a minute
Don't let them have the puck.
and then score.
You guys do your thing. all Stone and perhaps Bennett in that situation would have to be is, old like table hockey. You're the two guys in front. All you do is have to smack it in.
Don't move much else.
Yeah, that's all
Just
you gotta
left,
do.
right,
Yeah,
left, right.
exactly.
Stick on the ice.
Yeah, just boom. All right, goal. Boom. All
Eat
right,
a few
goal.
cross checks.
Yeah.
Find the rebound, score.
Yeah, that's them.
Make sure you don't get hit by the puck either.
Yeah,
It's
simple.
Yeah, that stuff's going to be fun. I will enjoy the Four Nations.
I'm a little bit worried about the Americans.
They're gonna be awesome.
They're going to be so good too.
They have everything.
Canada, they're running this tournament.
Really?
I stand by. They
Okay.
don't need the top end goaltending.
I'm a little bit worried.
Aiden Hill and Bennington will be just fine with that. With the guys in front of them, and honestly, Canada could give up 2-3 goals. I don't care. They're scoring 4 or 5.
Wow.
I think the
I think
U.S.
they
is
can
gonna be
score the best
formidable.
one, but I think the U.S. has got a really good team.
I'm not gonna lie to you. I kind of like the U.S.'s roster more as a whole. They have it all. They are complete. Now,
Who are the 5 best players in the world right now?
McDavid, McKinnon,
Matthews,
McCarr,
McCarr, and
Draisaitl.
Draisaitl.
Dry.
Yeah, that's fair.
3 of the 5 are on Team Canada.
I know.
One is
But in
playing for the
terms of-
Americans. One's not in this tournament.
Okay, but then what's 5 to 10?
I don't know. But I'll take
Pasternak,
3 of the
Tkachuk,
first 5.
To Chuck.
I'll still take 3 of the first 5, especially when it's those players.
Panarin.
Like it's not McKinnon, it's not McCarr, it's not McDavid. And you still have the wily vet Sidney Crosby there.
He is a hockey
He is.
angel.
Yeah, he is.
Yeah.
Like that to me, I stand by. That's why I talked about if they need a goal late. I'm not worried about them tying up a game if they need to. Because those are the guys that are coming over the boards. Those are the guys that have to be stopped. We've seen just McDavid on his own make defensemen
Okay, so
like pylons.
Matthew Brock Nelson will stymie them.
We've seen McDavid make goalies just score on the best of the goalies.
Yeah.
This was the NHL Network's 2023 top 50 players.
2023, okay.
Okay, so you got McDavid 1, McKinnon 2, Draisaitl 3, McCarr 4, Pasternak 5, Tkachuk 6, Matthew 7, Kucherov 8, Crosby 9, and Rantanen 10.
Oh, he's good too.
So 4 of the top 10.
And
And
then-
a few of those players aren't even in this tournament.
Here's where I think it gets interesting is that now from 11 to 20, they had Hughes, Fox, Robertson, Vasilevsky, Point, Marner, Kaprizov, Shesterkin, Heiskanen, Eichel.
I will take
That's the
top
American
heavy of top 10 over heavy 11 through 20.
Okay. You want 21 to 30?
Nah, because I'm already good.
Fair enough. You got Sorokin, Barkov, Hedman, Yossi, McAvoy, Pedersen, Thompson, Dahlin, Carlson, Ovechkin. That's where they're at.
Those are good players.
Yeah, the thing about the top few players, their IQ is unreal and it's unmatched.
I'm not
and
disputing this at all.
I'm not. That's why I'm not worried in any way, shape, or form. Canada has fine goaltending. That's all they need. Americans can have the great goalies. Have at her.
They do have great goals.
Have the great goalies. But when Team Canada is shelling them on February 15th, we'll see what the Americans have to
During
say.
the fun spiel.
I'm going to throw this one at you now. This is the NHL 25. This was released October. Oh, man, I just lost it. This was released October 6th.
What is this?
This would be
NHL 20, like
so
the
NHL
video game?
Network. So
That's from the
rank-
video game.
I know, but just as the rankings,
we're going
top
from the
50
video game.
top 50 players, but the video game is very indicative of what is
Sure.
actually going on.
I'll
This
trust
is
the
what they
people at
have.
EA Sports out in Toronto or in
You got
Vancouver.
McDavid 1, McKinnon 2, Matthews 3,
Ew.
Makar 4, Draisaitl 5. So that's not much of a deviation.
You're right.
from
3 of the
normal.
top 5. I stand by.
Okay.
3 of the top 5.
Shesterkin 6, Kucherov 7, Barkov 8, DeChuck 9, Quinn Hughes 10.
So the Americans don't have a lot. They've what, 3?
They have 3 in the top 10.
Canada's got 3 in
Canada's
the
got-
top 5.
3 in the top 10.
It's in the top 5 though. It's
Sure,
in the top
sure, sure,
5.
sure.
And that doesn't even count Crosby.
I'm not
in there.
arguing with
They don't
you.
even have Crosby in there.
I'm not going to argue. Crosby's number 11.
Oh, just outside.
But that's like I don't. You could have That's how it's you brace it. Well, we've got they both have 3 in the top 10, but Canada's got 3 in the top 5. Top 5. Sorry, Kachuk does not have the same IQ as McDavid or McKinnon.
Fair point.
Fair.
I'm going down. I'm going down with Canada.
I
Not
actually
even
think
close.
Matthew DeChuck is in the group chat, in the nasty chat right now.
Oh, lovely. Hello, Matthew.
Canada can't handle these bash bros. Me and my bro are going to make Canada cry more than I did McCrybaby.
See, and I hope that that's what happens. Let
thanks,
the Kachuk
Matty.
brothers come. Let them do their thing. Force that penalty, and then let's see Team Canada go on the power play. Goal. Red lights on.
Yep.
The over.
burn.
Well, we'll have to set. Well, Cool Bet will have to set odds on how soon will Canada score on their power plays.
I like those prop bets.
15 and a half seconds in or what? Like it's going to be ridiculous.
Yeah.
Don't let Canada go on the power play. They will score. We saw the Oilers last year have a historic best, or these last few years have like a historic great power play. Watch Team Canada this year.
Oh, snap.
Matthews, DeChuck, Hughes brothers,
All 3?
Eichel,
Or just 2 out of 3?
Quinn, and Jack.
But no.
That's a pretty good power play too.
Luke.
I'm not
Pretty
saying
good.
I'm not
Pretty
saying it's Canada level.
It's not.
I'm just saying it's a pretty good.
Yeah, and I'm not saying the Americans are awful. I'm not saying they're not going to challenge the Canadians. I'm just not worried at all about Team Canada.
Fair.
I am not worried one bit about Team Canada. Do we have odds even yet on it?
I don't think so.
If Canada's not the favorite, I might have to throw some money into my account just to throw it on Canada. Go all in on our boys.
Let's go.
Fair enough.
Do they have 4 nations face off? Show odds. Canada's the favorite, plus 125. US plus 175. Sweden plus 500. Finland plus 700. Even Cool Bet knows what's right.
Well, those guys know what they're doing.
They know what's up, eh?
Exactly. That's the Americans always burn out.
They can't dig in the way
they don't have
Canadians
it.
Oh
can.
boy.
They don't have it.
Here comes the dig in comments.
I just
And-
wanted to slide that in.
And
there.
watch, well, it'll be Canada, U.S. in the final in Boston. And the U.S. will have the home crowd because Canada will have the home crowd in the first one out at the Bell Center
That's
in
gonna be
Montreal.
awesome.
And then Boston will come out and they'll think that, well, we got Canada and Canada's just going to dominate. Calling it 5-0 Canada win. Gold medal game.
Ooh, spicy.
Wow. Wow. That's
Very
a good
spicy,
take.
Matthew.
Do you want that on record?
It is on record. I can't delete that. Why
It's
can't
there
delete
forever.
that?
It's in the.
It's in the
I
vault.
believe in
Ether.
Canada. I believe in our country. And this is also the start of Connor McDavid's quest for the North Star Award, I think it's called.
What the hell's that?
That's the top Canadian athlete of the year. It used to be the Lou Marsh.
And then they call it the
should-
North Star Award.
I think it's now the North Star Award.
Holy.
It should be coming up very soon. The winner of that one. This one is going to be an easy one this year. The hot take.
Oh,
man.
that's the hot take, man, coming in.
I don't know where North Star Award, Northern Star Award. Sorry,
Northern Star, okay.
Summer McIntosh is going to take it this year. Like
As
it's,
she
it's
should.
often in
Yeah.
Olympic years, the Olympic athletes usually get
She had
it.
a great Olympics.
dominated.
But 1 year Connor McDavid does and will deserve to get this. Next year is going to be the big year for that. I think
It's gonna be Trey Ford next year.
Canada goes wins the Four Nations. Canada goes wins the Four Nations.
Yep.
If McDavid could get his team, if he wins a cup, it's not even close. But he then needs a really good 25 start of the NHL season, a good year after. And I think Connor McDavid would be the leading candidate to win it next year.
That's fair.
Trey Ford will win it in 2028.
Thank you. Nailed it.
He'll lead the Elks to a Grey Cup, and he'll lead Canada to a gold medal at the flag football at the Olympics.
Boom.
That'd be awesome.
Boom.
Or a silver medal at least. He'll be a silver medalist and a Grey Cup.
I'm curious
winner.
to see-
And boom, Northern Star.
I'm really curious to see how Canada performs at the flag football in the Olympics because we should have a very good team.
We better be finished second.
Hell yeah.
Well, is it high school games or is it college? There's been multiple games, Canada versus US, and Canada's won in football.
Hell yeah.
Flag football world championships. Let's see. Most titles Canada has, or the US has 6. Oh, this is something different then. Canada has 1 in
They
this.
talk about it on the NFL
this
Network
other
all the time.
I've
where it's
seen.
like,
I know
you've
what
seen-
you're
you know what I'm
talking about.
right?
Yeah.
So I just can't remember if it's college or if it's high school. But they play.
I don't know the rules. Like I want to know how the roster's made up. Like is
Yeah.
it you have offensive players, you have defensive players?
I don't know.
Like can the quarterback just run? How quickly? Because I remember playing in recess or whatever.
yeah.
You'd count sometimes. If you got to
Three
5 or
steam-
whatever,
three steamboats.
then
Yeah.
you could start running. Or,
Yeah.
something. Or if the moment you started somebody crossed the line of scrimmage to blitz, you could run.
Right.
I need to know those type of rules. The Americans, if the NFL is legit saying and they're encouraging the NFL players to go, there's no stopping them.
I want us to
Patrick
stop.
Mahomes there, Tyreek Hill there, and stuff. You're not stopping that.
It'll be
But I would be intrigued to see then if the NFL allows that. Would the CFL push for that?
They
Because
should.
they'd have to pause their season.
So what?
That would be the one thing that they would have to do.
We
And
have 3 bye weeks in a season right now.
whoever's the next commish, they'll have to think of that and they should.
Yeah.
I think I'm applying for it.
The commish job?
Yeah.
What's your number one thing besides the Rouge?
Our balls are bigger.
They are not. They are the exact.
I know they're not.
They
You
have
remember
not
do
been
you
since
remember
You want that
1986.
campaign again?
I want that campaign.
Oh, I'd love
Right
that
back.
campaign
Yeah.
again.
Bring that back.
There was that campaign, and they did this very Canadian one, which is talking about how the league is Canadian, different, the diversity of all that stuff. That was from the mid 2000s. That was like Strug at Your Hearts and stuff, and it was great.
Yeah. I wouldn't change anything, to be honest with you.
Oh, I have a few changes immediately.
Really?
Oh,
Throw
absolutely.
Two. Throw
What?
2.
I would start with.
Actually, I do have changes. I lied to you. I would move up the season.
That's
Yeah.
the number one change
Yeah.
I would start with.
Yeah.
I would, if I could do it the way I would want it, I would want week 1 of the CFL playoffs to be on Thanksgiving Monday. We don't do anything on the Monday. Let's put a doubleheader playoff game to get as many people watching as possible.
Yep.
The following Sunday, because it's a short week now, is your finals, your conference or division or
Yeah. Division final.
finals. That gives you also an incentive, a little more incentive to win your division or whatever, because you then don't have
You
to
don't
do the
wanna play a
short
short
week.
week,
You don't
yeah.
have the shorter week. And then the Grey Cup Sunday would be, what would that be?
Grey Cup Saturday.
Late October. I wouldn't do that one.
Damn it.
I would go with the division winners, get the buys, but then it's 2 or 3 through 6 for the playoff spot. Wild cards,
I
and
get
I
it.
would move them
Yep.
around the country. The league's not in that dire of a strait that they can't afford to pay for Montreal to have to fly to Saskatchewan for a playoff game as opposed to going to Hamilton or something like that. So I would give me then 3 through 6, the best teams. Those would be two of the changes I would have. I would have if you play a Canadian quarterback, it does not count towards your ratio.
I like that.
I would make it like count for 2 Canadians.
Oh,
There's no benefit to playing a Canadian quarterback.
right.
Go an extra benefit. Don't just add a benefit, because like one of the things with the ratio rules when you're building a roster is you also have to have depth in that spot.
Yeah.
And that's the risk that you have if you have a Canadian quarterback. And maybe then this is where a 2 wouldn't work for that.
Well,
but
so
if you
then-
have a Canadian quarterback as your starter, you kind of need a Canadian quarterback to be the backup. Otherwise, you're going to have to completely change your ratio.
So then you'd have to create points. So you'd have to say each import is worth points. So you have this many points. You can do whatever you want with your roster.
Well, I like that.
But that's what each time you bring in an American player, that's a point or 2 points or whatever it looks like.
But
Now you construct your roster based off of that.
I would find a way to define, though, that if you're playing a Canadian quarterback, you get a ratio benefit for it. Not right now, you get nothing.
You get
And I
nothing.
would like to
There's
see,
no
like, if
incentive.
we start playing a little bit more Canadian quarterbacks, maybe we could develop a little bit more Canadian quarterbacks.
And I think that's where the points come in, right? Because now it's like, okay, well, what are the skill positions that I need to make sure that we're good? Well, obviously receiver's a big one.
Yeah.
So, are you going to go out and try to find American guys? Like, what are you trying to do? How are you going to construct your roster with you only have 35 points or 25 points? Like, now you have to actually sit back and be like, okay, how can I construct this properly? Do I take that chance because I want to get one more skill position guy that maybe Canada doesn't produce as well as the Americans do?
I would add CFL fantasy, year long, 14 fantasy.
That'd be, oh God.
I would also make sure the next TV deal is not just one network. It would be a minimum of 2 networks.
Which network?
That's good.
Ideally, TSN and CBC.
No Sportsnet.
If Sportsnet wants in, I would gladly do three teams or 3 networks and try to create it where it's like the CFL has or the NFL has in the States. Rotate. Actually, the NHL now has it, I think, a little bit.
What?
Rotate who holds the Stanley Cup. Like,
Yeah,
I
they
think
do.
they
TNT
rotate.
and ESPN
They rotate.
switch. Yeah.
Rotate who has the Grey Cup every year. So
Yeah, I
then it
don't mind
forces
that.
all these people to once a year, like, it's going to be your year. You might dive in a little bit more to
Yeah.
it, but it's also like, if you're not doing a good enough job, we could always pull this from you.
Yep.
And if you like try to build something with that, I would love CBC to be back in.
They did a great job with the CFL.
Yeah, and that would be, if I was commissioned, there's my running list.
Yeah.
Get Team 10 in there, man.
So I
Quebec
technically
City.
have 3 points, and you have like 5.
There's some things that need to be adjusted without question.
Yeah.
I do like the fact that the Grey Cup this year was on the CBS Sports Network. Last year it wasn't, so they got that fixed.
I just personally really, really think that if you move that time up, you'll actually get more buy-in from fans too.
If you move it up.
Yeah, move the season up.
Yeah, the thing that always came up was, well, it's going to go up against the playoffs of the NHL. And I was like, I don't care about the start of the season. I care about the end of the season.
That's my point.
I want more people in the seats, and even just weather-wise.
Yeah.
I'm going to have a better chance to get people out in seats for a
Yes.
playoff game in October than I am in November.
100%.
That's a good point.
So if I have to give up as a league my first couple of weeks of little bit of the attendance because the playoffs are going on in the NHL, and that only matters if the teams are in it.
How narrowed down does it get? Like, how many people tune out playoff hockey when it gets down to the conference final and the Stanley Cup
The
final?
moment the Oilers are gone,
Yeah.
this city is done. We all go outside. We
Yeah.
all start doing other things. We
Yeah.
stop caring largely. So unless you have a year where, like this year, the Oilers got to the Cup final,
Right.
and it impacted the Elks' first game of the season. To me, this is where you also then have to be soccer if you're the NCFL, and that's they move games.
Yep.
Yeah, you got to be willing to move those games,
And don't move
gotta
it
flex.
up.
Yeah.
Like this year, they moved it up a few hours. Move it to the next day.
Right.
Move it to a different day.
Yep.
You know, like the Stanley Cup schedule does come out in advance. Mm-hmm. And you kind of can then start seeing how things are going to play out and stuff.
Yep.
And you also have the fortune of, okay, the CFL schedule will come out December 14th this year. You know, Ottawa's not going to be in the Cup final.
Good point.
You know, Montreal's not going to necessarily be in the Cup final.
Right.
Like,
cheap shots.
well, but
fair point.
you've got
But it's very true.
Saskatchewan, you've got Hamilton. So right there's 4 teams.
Yeah.
So
So
you
with
could kind of
Saskatchewan,
look.
it doesn't really matter anyway.
Right. So you could kind of look at those 4 teams like they could be home teams for week 1.
Yes.
You could kind of plan, okay, is Calgary really going to go all the way to the Cup final?
No.
Okay, we could risk maybe a Calgary playing. Okay, the Oilers last year went to the Cup final. We probably don't want them playing a home game for the first week of this year.
Yeah, get them on the road for 2
Toronto
weeks.
still is. They still have some great players. You don't want to risk the Argos. Even though they're the Grey Cup champions, you might... they're Grey Cup champions. You might have to be forced to play them at home this year.
Let's not kid ourselves. They're only selling like 10 to 15,000 seats anyway.
But if the Leafs
So
are
it
in it,
doesn't really affect
later.
them. So
But then, okay, the Canucks could go on a run,
Unfortunately.
and Winnipeg could go on runs. Okay, so maybe those guys, they're all on the road to start. And then, okay, come week 2, we're good, largely.
yeah, that's fair.
yeah,
So you gotta
and
be
more
preemptive with
people
this.
are attending games in the CFL at that point then for longer stretches.
I like
And you
it.
just get more nicer weather. Like,
The
I
nicer
love
weather
cold
helps
weather
big time.
football. I like with the Bills game this past weekend, I'd love to have been there. But I understand that's not nowadays,
Yeah.
especially for the Canadian Football League. People don't want to do that.
No.
So let's get nicer weather.
Yes. And you
So-
see it as soon as the weather turns here, people, I'm not going. Weather doesn't look good. And you're like, well, it's +8. Nah, don't want to. No, I'm going to sit at home, stay warm. But if it's springtime, season's starting to turn, people are getting excited. It's +15. I'll go to the game, wear a spring jacket.
I don't know how this works with my playoff scheduling of Thanksgiving weekends, but have Victoria Day weekend be the first weekend of the regular season, even
That's third week of May.
third weekend, I think, of May or something.
Sure.
Victoria Day weekend, we could have a game on Victoria Day.
Yeah.
Celebrate our
See, but I
former
think
queen.
even if you created more of an atmosphere for CFL games, and I know that they've started doing a little bit more tailgating with the Elks,
Tailgate's great.
but I think they have to really open that up. Like where it's like, we're tailgating, because then once you get to that time where it's like +8, it's hovering on 0, and people are now starting to be like, you know what, we can go tailgate, we can be down there. There's more of a vibe down there, and you create like a really cool, a really good feel, really good
Like a scene type of thing.
I think more people will go down there.
VR Montenegro literally goes just for the tailgate and then goes home. And
Well, you
watches
remember what it was like when we went down and we did college football?
it. Yeah.
Like, it was crazy. We showed up when I was playing for Oak City. We went and watched the Sooners, and we showed up 2.5 hours early because Todd Nelson happened to know some guy, and he's like, "Come down and
course he
tailgate
did.
with us."
Yeah.
So we get down there 2.5 hours early, and the entire parking lot was full. And people like had their trailers. Like, you should see some of the trailers.
I
that
went to one of
these
those
guys
games.
have. It's absolutely crazy. But they're so invested in the tailgating portion
Yeah.
of it, and like, hanging out with different people and, just creating a cool vibe. If you did that here, you're going to get twice as many fans showing up.
Yeah. Now there they had the whole like quad and all that space
Oh, yeah.
around the stadium. At
We don't
Commonwealth-
have that here.
Yeah, but they have done a good job. Like that southwest corner, lot B they've done a phenomenal job with it. I have to say, it gets better and better and better, and the vibe
Yep.
and the camaraderie, the sense of neighborhood is very much starting to blossom there. When I went to the Sooners Notre Dame game, I remember one setup was like 2 of those 10 by 12 tents or whatever, the 10 by 10, whatever they are. And one guy had like a full living room
Oh, yeah.
with an area rug
Yep.
and like 3 TVs on a huge like TV stand. And I'm like, what the hell is, unreal. And then he's grilling. You want beer? Yeah. Yeah, I do. What game you watching? Where you from? Edmonton, Canada. No way.
Like, it was to the point where like they had the bathrooms, and in the toilet they had the logos of the different teams, and it's just like it's so passionate down there. It's kind of cool to see. But like, just creating that cool vibe. Like, if you're the Elks and you have, maybe there's a little concert outside, and you figure
They
out,
have that.
but like, how many people actually go do it? Because the vibe
Couple
of
hundred.
It's growing.
It is growing.
but
It
the
is.
vibe of having more tailgating is just starting. And so if you push that more,
I did the quick math, or looking at the calendar. If they did my schedule of starting playoffs Thanksgiving weekends, the first week of a CFL season would be Victoria Day weekend.
Perfect.
But it would then have to change, because once they do add a 10th team, it will go from a 21-week schedule to 19-week schedule.
Right.
So we'll go down 2 weeks. So you could either then bump up,
Bump.
this,
Get it into
you
June.
could have Grey Cup be 2 weeks even earlier. You could have Grey Cup be Thanksgiving weekend, or you could start the CFL season 2 weeks later because of the shortened season.
I like
and
it
stuff
starting
like that.
in beginning of June.
Yeah, so you could right now start at Victoria Day weekend, have it done mid-October,
Yeah.
and then once you get that 10th team, you're back to starting in June, and everything goes.
And you want to talk about the tailgate concert series at Spirit of Edmonton Tailgate? Shout out to Tallboy, rocking every weekend.
Jerry's on tomorrow
Yeah, he is.
to give us Jasmine, Jerry, and I to talk. How was Spirit at Grey Cup? It was their 50th, so we'll get his thoughts on that. Need to get to Road Warriors, which is just brought to you by AccuSteel Heavy Haul Trailers, custom manufacturing of heavy haul trailers for mining, oil and gas equipment, and highway transportation. Quality, innovation, integrity, trusted by the leaders in the heavy transport industry. Get on the road with peace of mind for your large loads.
There he goes.
AccuSteel.ca.
How good does that feel?
It actually does feel really good. It does. Predators on the road against the Leafs. Bruins on the road against the Blackhawks. The Golden Knights, after playing against the Oilers yesterday, they head out to Anaheim to take on the Ducks, while the Stars are in LA to go up against the LA Kings. But really, the schedule for tonight it isn't necessarily looking at who are the road teams. It is going to be the Four Nations face-off roster announcement. Coming up in the noon hour will be Finland and Sweden. We've got the oil stream, and EST afternoons, which will keep you updated, and we'll report and break down those two rosters. And then during the Reed Wilkins Show with Jay Milne, Canada and the U.S. get released 4:30 and 5 o'clock. Those releases come out, so we can further dissect how good Canada is and just admire how great our roster is.
Yes.
And how, look at this, these guys are going to bring us a Four Nations face-off title.
I'm excited.
And we could thank them for it
Let's
preemptively.
go. Yep.
Do they have a trophy for it yet or something?
Why don't they bring back the World Cup trophy? I mean, it's supposed to be a World Cup for crying out loud.
Did they use it in 04 and 16?
They created another new one.
So they just created a new one for
Yeah.
16? Yeah, because that brings back memories.
So prestigious.
We'll do something brand new.
Yeah.
What kind of trophy would be best suited for this?
I think 4 sticks have to be on it. It's 4 nations, 4 sticks.
With the flags of each
flags
nation.
on the,
So
on
is
the
this-
bottom
is
of it
this
or
on the
something. Yeah.
Is this going to now continue on as only the Four Nations,
God, I hope
or
not.
will it become the Six Nations, or
How
will
would
it
I
go
back
back
the-
to the World
Bring back
Cup?
the World Cup and that stupid trophy that they had.
Well, you have the Olympics in. So the Olympics in 26, you have a World Cup in 28. You rotate every 2 years. In the odd years, I'm okay rotating 1 year a true all-star game and 1 year doing maybe a best on best, or like having a Four Nations or something. Maybe.
Yeah,
I don't know.
maybe that. Yeah, I would do that actually.
But then that's
Every
3
2
straight
years.
years of best on best.
I don't know.
Best on
I
best.
don't know.
Well, like, is the All-Star game doing enough? The NHL All-Star game doing enough?
It's a schmooze fest for
Yeah,
the
so,
sponsors,
why can't
and they
you
need to do that.
So why can't you create, a Six Nation or whatever based off of the
You're essentially
countries.
creating a mini World Cup now.
100%.
Just go and have a World Cup,
But you do. And you have the Olympics. But what could you do in the other years?
an All-Star
Odd
game.
years.
So if you so
doing
you have
All-Star
All-Star,
years? Yeah, okay.
All-Star. Geez, I can't even talk right now. All-Star 1 year. The next year's World Cup. The next year All-Star game. Next year World Cup, and then
no,
change
Olympics.
the different. I guess Olympics, but then change the All-Star format. Because I think it would be really cool to see like a Canada versus Finland in the All-Star game in the NHL. Like I think that'd be kind of cool. I think you get more buy-in too. Put a little cash on it.
Team North America versus Team World. That's kind of like
Yeah, and Owen, isn't that
that
when Owen
was-
Nolan pointed, or was that no? That was Western
that
Eastern
was West
Conference.
versus East. That was great.
Yeah.
That was like the dying. I think the '99 All-Star game was really like the last true good All-Star.
The
game.
NBA needs to go to World versus US. There's enough now.
Yeah.
of
I
the
would- I would
world
agree. I would agree with that.
that I think that would be a fun competition that they're going. But they're doing some pickup thing, and
Yeah.
eh.
It's hard with
All-Star
All-Star
games
games,
suck.
man. It's so hard.
Yeah.
That will be it for the EST Hangout presented by Sentinel Storage. Check them out, Sentinel.ca. Up next, Lock Shop, Dusty and Huss. We got Oil Stream, Dusty and Tommy. We got EST Afternoons. We got the Reed Wilkins Show with Jay Milne. Coming up later tonight, Friends of EST Oilers Live will be on our audio channel. Saturday, Dave Pagnotta set people up for the weekend.
Pagnotta getting people pissed off. I love it.
What did he do again?
Well,
Or just
last
from last
week he
time,
did,
yeah.
and people.
Things
I
still
love
cooking.
how he doubles down on certain things. It's
as
actually
you
quite
should.
yeah. It's quite comical.
Don't run away.
I'm sure we'll find somebody.
Still working. The
Yeah,
what is
I'm
it?
sure we'll find somebody.
Irons
We
are in the
always
fire
do.
still.
There's always
Well, it's
somebody
Wednesday.
that pops up.
Usually you don't have those done, so I always like to, just in case you guys have something.
Sometimes we have them done. Sometimes we don't.
We had
But
Simon
they
Bennett on. He
always-
was great last week.
And Barry Stafford.
And Staffy.
Staffy.
Staffy was good. Lots of
Staffy
stories.
was- Do you think Staffy just wanted to talk?
Yep.
Some people like to just come on and they just get to talk.
I do.
Yeah.
And he was great.
was great.
Thank you to everyone for tuning in to the EST Hangout here on Edmonton Sports Talk, your clear choice for Edmonton sports. Thanks to Eric for the starting off the show. On behalf of Tommy Bellsy, I'm Matt. Thanks for tuning in. Once again, Lock Shop coming up in just a few minutes. Don't go anywhere.
Let's go. There you go. Right in front of the camera.
First-time guest, long-time listener, fan of the original draft commissioner.
Welcome to the EST Hangout presented by White Claw Hard Seltzer. The difference is clear. Matt Iwanyk, Tom Zola with here. Joining us today,